welcome to Flat Earth Debate Uncut and After Show. I'm your host Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe, hit the bell notification icon and join button if you'd like to become a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member and keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you would like to support the channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they premiere. There's also a PayPal, Patreon and crypto link in the info box below the video. Speaking of Patreon, I'm going to do a quick shout out to all of you who do support me on Patreon. So a massive shout out of thanks and appreciation to Guns of Navarone, RMP, Troy Shuker, Bose Nail, Joseph Pizarro, Samson, Maris, Mobile Max 777, Neo the One, Rob W, Open-Minded, Reese Pound, Del West Watson, Mike, Muted, Dick Earth Skeptic, NA Literalist, Maria Neelands, Unbelievable Productions, Blue Ridge Ranger, Rob H, The Real Gabster, Windrider, Liam Nedrick, Abraham Mohammed, Dave Rakia Gafford, Naibai, Adrian Quintana, Skeptic936, Life is Short, Fireball X, TheFlatEarthChannel.com, Texas Mike, Edwin Johnson, Kirsten Smith, Alexander Main, and David Wayne Foster. So a massive thank you to all of you for supporting me on Patreon. Now, where I may be able to give back to you a little bit is also below this video a link to switch your energy provider to Octopus Energy, and you can actually get £50 back, and that also supports me. With that, I'm going to actually raise the mic on whoever is in Discord and Google so you can enjoy their dulcet tones while I set up for today's live show. I'm always good.
I'm always good, even when I'm doing bad. Bad comes with life.
I'm serious. I learned a lesson. I ever buy a car again, my first thing, put it up on a lift. I want to see underneath this whole car. I want to look at every freaking thing.
Yeah.
And that explains why he was procrastinating the whole time, because it's going to cost that much money to get it running right.
I overheard some of your conversation from the kitchen before I started. But you've got the car, you've got the title, cut the guy loose, tent's right. Don't put it in his possession, because then he's got to lean on the car. So just deal with it yourself. Cut your losses.
Yeah, that's what I'm afraid he's going to do. I'm afraid he's going to hit me with the 1,000 I owe him, plus whatever work he does that's going to take him over the 1,000 I owe him. He's going to expect me to pay it.
Of course.
Not a chance.
So, tell him what you're doing. Say, look, tired of this, cutting my losses. The car's got faults. I'll accept them as they are. You're not going to sort them out. I'm not going to pay you what I owe you, because you haven't sorted out the problems that you said you'd sort out. So we're all quits. Let him know. Don't just not do anything.
Yeah, anyway, I'm going to let him know.
Yeah, just let him know. And then sort the problem out yourself. You've got £1,000 surplus, or maybe you have, to sort out the problem with. And there's a good chunk of it, and you don't have to disturb him anymore. He'll probably be glad to see the back of you. You'll presumably be glad to see the back of him. And you can both go about your lives. But obviously there's not going to be any money exchanging hands. And why should there be? He's owing you work. You're owing him money. Well, then, if he doesn't give you the work, you don't give him the money, and you let him know that. And that's the end of it. You just have to get the work done off, wherever you can get it done locally with someone you trust.
Yeah, and I'm wondering if I can get like somebody else. If I take it maybe to like a Meineke or another shop, maybe they could do a little cheaper, or because I see the prices on some of the parts online, and even Midas, they're charging me like $532 for freaking muffler caps or catalytic caps, and I see them for like $200. So I don't know how that works, but anyway.
Depends on the dealer. It depends on what their rate is hourly. It depends. Obviously, if they're going to source the parts, they're going to want to make a profit on them. I deal with a few different garages just to keep them honest. You know what I mean? In other words, if you get a bit complacent with one garage, they'll potentially start to take advantage of you. Well, go to various different garages, fussy about what they're doing, actually look at some of the work they're doing while they're doing it if you can. Normally they've got some sort of way of looking into their bay as they're doing the work. Anyway, this is very unrelated to Flat Earth for a Monday morning.
Okay, change the subject. I'll deal with it.
Yeah, but I think it's actually echoing what 10th Man said, but
Just can't find
Good
out.
afternoon, guys.
Hi, Flat
Hey,
Freud.
hey, good morning.
Been on a little roll
Neil-
at the moment with your videos. Very good, very good.
Yeah, I was going to say Neil's got us jacked up, but here's Flatfoot.
You're now up to 700 subscribers, I see.
Sorry.
You're up to 700 subscribers. That would be what I
Yeah,
would be calling
eventually.
well on the way to 1,000. And when you reach 1,000, it's
Yeah.
a milestone. It's a proper milestone, 1,000 subs.
Yeah, it's getting there. I'm growing about every 30 I get, then I lose like 5, and then it goes up 10, and I lose 3 again, type of thing. But it's getting there. But I think half of them are just the Globers, though. You've got to keep an eye on my videos.
There you go.
And what's the problem?
I'm not moaning.
Yeah, just
I
accept
like
that.
to smother the things in their faces.
You've got a subject matter that's going to be controversial and going to cause people to want to disagree with you. Now, if that means that you want to phrase it this way, loving to hate you, means they subscribe, then brilliant. Thank you very much indeed. Subscribe away. That's that guy who's currently like, how dare you say Earth's flat? Next week might say, I really enjoy this channel because Earth's flat. You just don't know, do you?
Never know. But yeah, I'm enjoying the demonstrations. So real quick demonstrations here and there. Pop it in.
Yeah, and I'm enjoying them. I quite like your response to the bearded devil. I just like the way you did it. You had him doing his little comment boxes and you responding. Hi, I'm Flatfoid. I'm going to debunk you.
The comedy thing.
It was funny. I laughed.
Yeah.
That's my point. I like the layout, and I think that's why you're gaining subs. You've got a good channel. You're getting into it, and you're obviously putting some thought into how you're going to do the video. You're not just presenting the data. Not that there's anything wrong with that. And there's extremes where it can also incorporate entertainment. So QE, for example, is on the extreme end of wanting to present the information, but he still manages to inject a little bit of fun here and there. Because I think you've got a good balance, and I think that's why your channel's growing.
Well, I'm glad you enjoy it.
I thought your channel was growing because whoever subscribed gets 20% off paint jobs.
But I love it. I love watching a channel like yours grow. It's great because you can see the progression you're making as a content producer. You can see the comments increasing, the views increasing, and that in turn has a knock-on effect to your enthusiasm level. And it's good to see. It makes me remember the process that I went through, and it's the same process, same for everyone. Everyone has to go through this process if you want to grow a YouTube channel. But it does bring a smile to my face watching it happen.
You're like a
Yeah,
proud
it's a learning-
father.
It's like a learning curve. It's definitely a learning curve.
You're in the hardest bit, if you ask me. The hardest subscribers to gain with the first 1,000 for me. Really, really hard. You put in all the effort to the video, you do it, you put it out there, and you go, 80 views. And then a week later, 120. You go, I put a lot of effort into that video. And it does kind of also knock you a little bit. So to keep that ball rolling does take quite a lot of motivation. So to see that you've got that motivation and to see that it is actually resulting in people subscribing to you, it's heartwarming. Because most people give up. Or they'll just periodically put out 1 or 2 videos, and the growth doesn't necessarily exceed the people that are churned, i.e. kicked out because they get bored or automatically unsubbed because you haven't produced anything for them to watch, whatever.
Yeah, I've just kind of created a mindset that I just take it day for day. I enjoy it. If you want to subscribe, you subscribe, or you don't. Make it fun. That's about it. I don't really worry how quick it grows. All I know is it is growing, so.
That's the best
All that
attitude, Try not to pay it too much attention, because otherwise it will drive you bonkers. But there we go. I mean, that said, I'm completely focused on my stats. You know, I know exactly what they're doing at all times. But then again, I'm completely I'm financially tied to it. So you're doing your job.
Exactly.
It's not YouTube, so there's a very different scenario going on.
Yeah, I'm not dependent on it. I can always just close it down and create another persona if I really wanted to.
The equivalent of quality control in what you're doing. I'm sure you've got a very, very close eye on what you're doing in terms of the actual physicality of laying it down. You've got to keep a close eye on the quality of it. And if you don't, for a second, the quality drops. So in that respect, it's like me keeping an eye on my stats. You're keeping an eye on the quality of what you're doing.
Yeah, agreed.
All the same, it's nice to see people growing. Same with Brian. Brian's logic he used to make these videos.
Yeah, I'm enjoying Brian's content lately. He's got a lot of in-depth. I just don't understand why his subscribers are so low, though. He should definitely have more than all the content he's bringing out.
Something missing from the community. There's a giant Patricia Steer-shaped hole missing in the community.
That's correct.
What she did,
Patricia Steer.
Yeah, what she did in the community was what she would have done today would be getting in touch with you and saying, "Hey, I really like your channel. It's growing and you're doing good stuff. Come and talk to me about your channel and what you do and what you know." And she'd chat to you, just shoot the breeze, and talk about your channel, and that would have grown your channel. She's not here. She's here, but she's not.
Potatoes.
Say again, Brian. Neil.
She would have did like a Brian's Logic and other hot potatoes, flat soy and other hot potatoes, and bang, you get growth. I miss her.
I mean, she still makes videos. She's just not focused on this subject.
Well, person's content I'm really enjoying lately is 10th Man's content.
Okay.
Yeah, the sextants and moon phase. I love it.
Someone asked me about him in the chat yesterday in one of the Uncut and After shows. They're like,
who asked you about me in the chat?
I can't remember who it was. I'm really sorry to the person who it was and to you, 10th. But you'll know why when I say the next statement. They're like, does this guy make videos, or do these other people on the panel have channels? I think was the way it was phrased. And you were the only one there at the time, and you were talking. And I was like, yeah, 10th Man does have a channel, but it's about cooking, so no plug for him.
Nice.
Yeah, come to my cooking channel. I'll grill you. Yeah, I haven't put one up for a while. It's been busy.
Cold too.
What's that?
Cold. So, you know, if you're going to be grilling stuff outside, for instance, as you did in some of your videos, you're not motivated to do it.
It's I've had birthday parties for the kids and other people, and I put on this big feast, but then it's like, I can't film this with all these people here. So all these different times I'm cooking, there's too many people. I can't just make it just the kitchen and me and the food. What I wanted to do was to go to all the restaurants that I know, and the chefs were excited about it, where I would film them cooking and have them do their recipe. And because of the current situation everywhere, I can't even do that. So it kind of stalled. Yeah, but no response to the sextant claims that I made. From the ballers, that is. Where'd everybody go?
I'm here. I'm waiting for an answer.
Oh, sorry, I'm just moving a car quickly.
Is Nathan starting the show early?
No, I don't think so.
No, but I might. Because, as Dodd's Law goes, the chair I've ordered is coming right in the middle of the live show. My wife is
that's
here,
right.
but
Your chair.
again,
I forgot about that. Your chair's coming today, huh?
yeah, and the table that goes on the side of it has also just come. Literally, that's why I just nipped away. So that's just come through the door, literally moments ago, which is great.
Wait, we're gonna have an unboxing Monday.
It's not a new chair; it's a second-hand chair. So I've had to pay £65 to get it halfway across the country. So it came from Scotland, and it's been shipped from a guy who sells this specific chair second-hand. Lots of them he's got. But there's very other few places that specifically sell the chair I wanted. So Scotland was it, unless I wanted to go and actually physically pick one up from someone else who's selling one privately, which I didn't want to do. The courier, he's organised, not me, and he's arriving at 2:30. Wonderful, as I start at 2 and finish at 3. That's about the best time you could possibly come. So with
Well,
that,
just create a ruckus and we'll take over and you go get your chair.
Yeah, I mean, for that reason, I think I might actually, like I say, I might start a little bit early. Welcome to Flat Earth Debate Live. I'm your host, Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe, hit the bell notification icon and join button to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you would like to support the channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they are live. There's also a PayPal, Patreon and crypto link in the info box below this video. Also below this video is a link to get £50 back if you switch your UK energy supplier to Octopus Energy. Most importantly, if you'd like to join the discussion, simply mute the page you are currently watching, then click the link in the info box below this video to join the panel and express your views on the nature of Earth. If you do join, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected. And if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcome back on the next stream. Please also share the show on social media. Sharing the show obviously increases the live audience, but this in turn increases the chances of a more diverse panel, so please share the show on Facebook and Twitter. One last time, if you're new to the channel or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe, hit the bell notification icon and join button to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. Now we are joined by Chocolate Saying, just joined, 10th Man, Flatsoid, Neil, and a whole bunch of people in Discord, so welcome one and all.
Good morning, everybody.
Hello, hello, hello.
Good afternoon. Good to be here.
Good morning. Hey, hey.
Hey George, hey people in Discord, hello Chocolate, you just joined. Good weekend, before
Okay.
you can, might as well do a bit of foreplay. Any good stories over the weekend from Ballers, maybe?
Chocolate's got a new song video out.
Yeah, I heard, it was very good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
thank you.
dope.
Thank you.
I like it because it had a bit of a feeling to it, a theme to it, like the collaborative video that you did Why Would They Lie? It had a similar vibe running through it, not just because it's you. Do you know what I'm driving at? In other words, it feels like it would be part of an album, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. I see what you mean.
But
Yeah.
Elijah did a good job on the lyric. On the turn there.
So check it out.
And the mixing, yeah.
It's on Chocolate Sayin's channel, so that's Chocolate, and it's Sayyan, all one word. Chocolate, Sayyan. Check it out. Right, let's do a bit of housekeeping. any evidence of a physical geometric sphere edge. That'd be a horizon formerly known as Earth curvature.
Nonsense.
Nathan,
It's
Nathan,
behind
that's
you in
so-
the picture.
that's so 2019.
You're not
It's
wrong.
Oh,
behind
Pete.
you
I
in the
got-
picture, Nathan.
Got a picture?
Yeah, it's on screen right
Yeah,
now.
I got some.
How are you presenting, Arwin? You're not
Oh, sorry.
presenting.
Go.
No, you are presenting.
Oh, that's
You
your
are right
evidence.
there
This
on
here,
screen.
that's your evidence. This CGI
Yes.
picture of me as an astronaut is your... No.
Well, the sphere is behind you, right?
Behind me in this CGI image?
Yes.
Yes, it is, Arwin.
There you go.
That's enough for today's ballers right there. That's enough. For,
But that's a photograph. It can't be CGI.
What do you mean it's a photograph? No, it isn't. What are you talking about?
All images from space are photographs. Didn't you guys know
And
this?
there's me stopping
Don't
globes.
spoil the loophole, Flatzoid. You know that they can get into a lot of trouble that way if you share with NASA that if they just make some CGI and then take an actual photograph of the screen of that CGI, that they can classify it as a photograph. Don't say it.
yeah, I'm glad you didn't tell them what not to say.
Is that the best we got? I don't know if everyone's off mute in
I got-
Discord. Go on, Crit. Or
Yeah.
banned by Atheism.
Yeah. So, based on last Friday, a photo was presented showing a phase of the Earth from Moon, and this was considered scientific evidence. And anyone that disputed it was basically muted. And basically, that's where I'm getting at. So, how would I counter that? How do I when they're not live here, and not get banned or muted? If one of the moderators, the globe moderator, says, here is a photo from the moon showing Earth phase, and it's curved. How do you counter that? Other than admit that the Earth is curved.
They're claiming to have a
From the
picture.
moon, you said?
Okay.
Yeah. So,
Okay. Hold on. One of the housekeeping questions. So let's go straight to that housekeeping question. So, any evidence that you can have gas pressure without the necessary antecedent of a container?
There is gas on
Yeah,
the moon.
Yeah,
It's
yes.
within
There's
the gradient.
the evidence they have, Nathan, is we got a picture from the moon.
Yes, but the picture could have been made because the moon does have gas pressure. So that negates the argument, Nathan.
Hold on.
No, it doesn't.
Hold on.
oh, I'm
Sorry,
sorry.
Hold
I
on.
thought you were talking about. Okay, I thought you were talking about Earth curve. Okay.
Yeah, we get what you're talking about, right? You're talking about a
Yeah.
picture of Earth curve from the moon, claimed to be a picture that was taken. Therefore, here's a picture of Earth curve, therefore Earth curve, right? That's what you're claiming. And I'm saying, where was the picture taken from? You're saying it was taken
Oh
from,
yeah,
from the moon, right?
the moon.
And the moon is claimed to be, like Earth, a rock in a sky vacuum, correct?
Yep, that's what they're claiming.
Right. So in order to take that picture, it's claimed men left the gas pressure we all enjoy breathing, the yummy, yummy gas pressure moving in and out of your lungs currently, into an area that's claimed to be a vacuum, and then travelled to a different rock to take the picture. Well, that journey took place in an area that isn't real. That would be a sky vacuum. So the fact they're claiming in that world, with that narrative, that they travelled through a vacuum to get to the moon, automatically invalidates the photograph. You can't have gas pressure without a container. They're claiming the sky, which they travelled through, is a vacuum. You
Not to
understand?
mention, an image is not a photograph. Just have to point it out.
I just want to, hold on. Just want Banned by Atheists to either acknowledge or, if he doesn't understand or appreciate how that debunks the picture, well, I'll explain further.
I got you. It's Crit. I changed my name because atheists demanded that I lose all my posting perms because I basically offered the same argument that you just did, and that was a losing argument. It was considered trolling, provoking, inciting discord, or all kinds of. I have no idea why somehow the same argument that you present is somehow now a troll once you leave.
Because they can't overcome it.
You
Look,
notice
can't-
how they don't come here and present that crap here, right?
Which
You
is
notice
why
that?
I was hoping. Okay, which is why I'm getting to that. Maybe there's some other way, since you guys are moderators also on the server. How
Where
could
did
a
this
flat
happen?
earther
On this
present the
channel?
argument and not get banned?
Exactly as I
Where did
have, and
this
exactly
happen?
as you have, as you've suggested that you have. Now, upon rebuttal, you can move forward with the argument. In other words, if your argument is that we wouldn't have gas pressure if this medium they travelled through was real, then they need to rebut that by showing you gas pressure without a container, which is the argument you're putting forward. If they merely say, your use of the second law of thermodynamics and gas expansion into a volume is trolling, then they've effectively just lost. Now, at that point, you can't appeal to us or anybody else in the forum to say, please, can you deal with this fundamentalist religious zealotry? Because we can't. I'm sorry about that.
Yeah,
Okay,
man, just
sounds good.
honestly, just take it as a win. Because
Can I ask
what
where
else are
this
they gonna
happened?
do? If like Nathan just said, if all they can do is tell you you're a troll and mute you after you presenting that argument, I mean, that's an L for them.
Why is he
You
asking,
know,
are we a moderator on something?
That's
Where
what
did
I'm
he hear
asking.
this?
Where did this happen?
it probably
It
happened in the
happened
Discord that he's in right now.
Why do you go
Again,
there?
I'm
Guys,
right
can you
now.
let him
Go there
answer?
when it's not
Hello?
important.
Hello, guys in G+. You've put something to him twice. Let's just let him answer. Chill.
Yeah, so it happened Friday, and then again, finally Sunday, when I tried to argue basically that their idea was that Copernicus or corpuscular rays do not work on the flat Earth, and this was presented by Danny T. I tried to argue that said this claim you're making is even more silly than when you said planes fly backwards, and that earned me an ice wall. An ice wall is basically a version of S-band on 24/7. So only thing I can do now is talk to the moderators, which they all ignore me, Rikers, Force, and Betty, or I could wait until the show Monday and try to say what happened and what we can go from there.
I'm still confused. Is this on 24/7 or is this on Betty's?
No, it's right here.
No, let
Yeah,
him
I'm
answer.
ice
Is
walled.
this
Yeah, I'm ice walled here.
okay? Who was there when you did it as a moderator?
Right, who cares?
Uh,
I'm not really sorry,
okay.
Crit. I don't care. I'm really sorry.
Okay.
And I don't think I need to explain why I don't care. Do I?
No,
I don't care
the
if
part
you
I
do
would
or
say
not.
why it's important to me is that being able to present an argument, and then if they say to you, well, that's attacking a moderator, and I'm like, no, this is actually his quote. I can go to QE's website and post a video of him saying that he said planes are flying backwards due to the Coriolis effect. And somehow if I post that, that is attacking the moderator and you get S-banned for it.
I see. So
Crit,
what you're saying is the
are any
moderators
of
put
you?
forward an argument, and because you're challenging them with their own position, you're being told that that's actually challenging moderator. Yeah, it is. And unfortunately, what they do is they say, well, because I'm a moderator status, you can't challenge my globe face. What do you want me to do?
Well, because this is what he said. He said I ad homed him and I straw manned him. So I said, how can I ad hom you if I'm attacking a straw man?
Again, I don't
And
care.
then he said
sorry,
that's
really
a
sorry.
ban.
This is beyond the
That-
argument, though, isn't it? This is in the point where they've got nothing, and now you're into pulling apart the wrangle dangle after you've won. Now, the way and the reason that they do this is so that the appreciation for the win is lost. And now we're entirely focused on the aftermath of them losing and how it's unfair of how they've lost. No, absolutely. Stay on point. Don't worry about them banning. If that's the case, right, you vote with your feet. You say, sod you, I'll go elsewhere then. If I'm going to be banned because you're a moderator and I'm putting your own words back to you, you vote with your feet. I can't, speak to that as much as I've got an allegiance with this server. That's true anywhere. And it'd be true for me because this isn't my server, right? So that's your choice. But we're discussing that rather than the fact that you won, right? They say we've got pictures of Earth curving from space. No, you haven't. What's space? It's a fake place. And when they say you're ad homing, strumming me, no, you've got a fake place for your pictures to come from. Just reiterate your winning point over and over again. And it'll drive them nuts rather than driving you nuts about how you've been treated in the server.
Any of these clowns in here right now?
Also,
yeah, right now I can't do. The only thing I can do is join the live stream or talk in a special channel where they just ignore you.
Have you ever seen,
or Ice Walled?
Have you ever seen Monty Python and the Holy Grail?
Yeah.
Have you seen the part where there's the Black Knight guarding the bridge?
Yeah.
King Arthur chops off one of his arms and he says, it's just a flesh wound. And by the end of the fight, the guy's got no limbs. He's just a torso. And he says to him as he gallops off on his fake horse with his coconut shells, I'll bite your legs off. They are the metaphorical equivalent of the Black Knight. You've chopped their arms and legs off, and they're going, come back, I'll bite your legs off. Know when you've won.
But yeah. but I'm saying it's quite the opposite. It's almost like they're King Arthur and I'm the Black Knight. They've basically said they've defeated me so much so that I cannot participate positively with the server anymore. That my argument is against you.
Hold on. You think that it's the other way around? No. So after you've won, you've defeated their argument and they have no rebuttal. That's the equivalent of chopping one of their arms off, right? They say it's just a flesh wound. I've actually won, right? Like the Black Knight.
Yeah.
It's but a flesh wound. Any of these clowns in here right now in the Discord, like that can actually? Nah, of course.
Yeah,
not.
I think chocolate. What you're saying is what I was tracking with you is that they get in their little bubble, make up their own rules, and all they got is a torso.
Pretty much.
I only come in there when QE's in there. If QE is in there, I'll come in because you got some backing. Other than that, who hears it? 10 people? Who cares?
Well, that's for
this is the issue. The issue I got is somehow that it's not the atheists that do it so much because all they can do is mute you, and eventually some flat Earth mod will unmute you. It's that righteous force thing comes in and demodded Steve, took Steve's mod status away from him because he was unmuting what the atheist moderators are doing. Then he ice-walled me and then told Steve to leave. Basically, the pound fan. And he won't even explain.
This. Oh, God. My advice is try and keep it focused on the argument you've won. You've won.
Yeah.
But all you're doing is moaning about the Black Knight bleeding on you because you still stood at the other side of the bridge.
I see where he's going. I don't want to belabor the point, but he's not getting his voice in because he's being cut off. And so if that's the case, just walk away from the show.
Yeah, you can't die on every cross.
Yeah, well, that's what I did by Jose's. After he kicked me out, why must I bother to be there again? Easy as that.
Yeah, just walk away.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is where we part ways because of atheists have made it that way?
No, you
it kind of seems like they're winning again then.
You take it up with Righteous Force. He's the moderator. This isn't a person that you can talk to.
Yeah, so this is what Righteous Force will do to you. He'll just start spamming Bible passages.
Don't tell me. Take it up with Righteous Force. It's not me you need to appeal to. I'm really sorry.
Just walk away, man. Don't worry about it. There are shows you don't need to be on.
Exactly. Nobody hears it. Nobody hears it but the people there.
Let them have their bubble.
Depends what your motivation is. Is your motivation for you to be able to beat them over the head with it continually?
So this is my motivation. It said that why Flat Earth always wins on this server. That this server is about science, not belief. And that right there is a mute. Because they think they have science and the only time it's not about science is when the show is live, which is why they don't partake. Because they'll only talk about science with people who actually want to discuss science.
Okay. So when they talk about science, we know that they will be talking about pseudoscience. Because, let's move on in housekeeping, any single viable hypothesis from any of the fields of astronomy, cosmology, or astrophysics. Now, before you answer, we're not even asking for validated experimentation. Merely a valid hypothesis. Stage 2 of the scientific method. They've got plenty of phenomena. Well, all we're asking for is a valid hypothesis. Have we been given one? No. They only have pseudoscience. We shut down their pseudoscience, and therefore they don't come. And when no one can hear, they talk about the science? Really, lads? Well, there's a whole audience. There's over 100 people here right now. And I bet half of them are crying out for globe science, but yet you're talking about it in the shadows when no one can hear you? All right. Must be really powerful science. No, they haven't got any science. They're telling you it's science, behind closed doors where no one can hear, to convince themselves. And what's that? Well, they don't allow science on this show. It's all we ask for. It's an outrage to say we don't accept science. It's all we're asking for. Oh, well, they won't accept our science because it isn't science.
Wonderfully said.
Repeatable mathematics.
Say that again, whoever that was.
George.
George.
Repeatable mathematics.
They think science is maths, that's correct. We have to discipline them in that too. Nobody's likes being...
Gee,
Nobody likes being
I wish we
schooled
could
by a
hear
flat
these
earther.
wonderful arguments that are being made in the back alleys, man. I wish someone would come on here and present these arguments, man.
They
Why are
don't
they
come
making these
on.
arguments in the back alley,
But they don't come
in the
on.
dark, in the night?
Hold on. This is where you get your win again. So you're telling us about how you've won an argument and then been suppressed by Globies. Because according to them, they've got a list of fallacies that you've used without example or demonstration or explanation of how those fallacies have been utilised, straw men or otherwise, ad hom fallacy. Again, not detailed, not explained, not used to justify how you haven't come up with a rebuttal for their argument. They just haven't given you one. And they're doing it in the shadows and then banning you. Well, that's useful for us to know, because we get the opportunity to say, oh, really? We don't allow science when we're live? Yeah, we absolutely allow science. If you had any, you'd have given it us. You'd be giving it us now. You'd be embarrassing the flat earther on his own show with the science, right? No, because there isn't any. So they're what? Embarrass us in the back shadows and the closed doors? No, they're not going to embarrass us there. But they damn sure don't want to be embarrassed live by a flat earther telling them they don't understand what science is when they present us with maths and geometry.
Hey, Chocolate, you're being too gracious with the back alley because they'd have to be streetwise to win that argument. So they're back in the bubble.
Yeah, they're definitely not that. Meanwhile, they're going to sleep at night with no arms, no legs, thinking, oh, it's just but a flesh wound. Yeah.
Or telling themselves that they've got science, but it just won't get accepted. It won't be tolerated. It's like, all right. So what, in the back rooms you can tell each other about how Cavendish is science? Maybe tell us about how Earth curve maths is science, about reifying R is science, because that's what we get told before we figured out what science was on our side. We were just as delusional about what science was as you were, and then we very much got specific about what science actually is.
Make it about me because there's other flat earthers who have the same sentiment. They just kind of ask me to speak for it because I feel like maybe I can articulate and advocate for myself much more than they can. You know, like even George is here and some other people who have constantly been muted and shut down.
But you're not welcome.
So it's
leave
not.
the show.
It's about the room.
Welcome.
That's what I'm saying. It's about the show. It's about the room. It's not about me or it's not about flat Earth. It's about people can't seem to get a voice here, and it almost seems like it's set up for that. And that makes me seem
said
like,
they want to destroy
why
the
can't I get
channel. That's what they said. They want to
Say
bring
again, Neil,
science
sorry?
back.
Talking over each other. Do you want to try one more time, Crit?
Oh no, I actually wanted to hear Neil. He said something because he's a moderator here too. So if he's got some insight in this, he's got more information than I do.
I'm a moderator. That's news to me. But anyway, they said at one time they want to bring science back to this Discord server, and they're not going to stop until they destroy us. That was months ago. Who hears it? 10 people? I left. I ignore them. When QE's on sometimes I come in. Other than that, you're going to drive yourself crazy. Just leave, come on this show, go to 24/7. Don't even pay them any attention anymore.
Yeah, I mean that's really sound advice, but it almost feels like it's directly harming this idea. Because if you surrender the debate, science versus pseudoscience, to them, 23 hours a day, that is basically I'm not sure where to go back from that. Then if flat Earth can
You're
only
not-
win
Look,
1
look,
hour,
you're not surrendering it to them. All you're doing is just leaving them to stay in a delusional state.
Yes.
Why you would get angry and take it personal? I mean, no, they are just stupid idiot trolls. That's why I'm not in there anymore, because it doesn't help. They're just talking circles. They just leave it be.
yeah. So you too. That's what I'm saying. You've been muted, and you're actually a member of the show. So if you can't even explain yourself here, I can't imagine, what's going on next.
Yeah,
With
yeah,
what
but
people,
don't you
how many
see? It's
people?
very clear. It's very clear. The Nathan Oakley show, you can bring up any point. These after Nathan Oakley show is over, don't bother.
So the after show where you try to talk about everything that happened with other flat earthers, it gets silenced because it's not science. That's
So
where the
don't
problem I'm
bother.
having here. And not just me though, it's other people too. It's about the whole room because there's the after show and then the after show.
Yeah, but see what happens. They get pummeled here for about an hour and a half. Then they use the rest of the day, what's left of 24 hours, to cry and whine and try to make up some ground. And next morning, the Nathan show starts again. They get pummeled again. And this is just ongoing. Forget the after show. Just come to this show and the extension afterwards, and you're fine.
Okay, I get you. So yeah, so forget about it. Like pretend the after show doesn't exist. Only the show exists.
No, yeah, I mean, if they've got these stupid rules and you don't like them and you get muted and whatever, then yeah, it's not worth your time. You're trying to bring content to their show. They're not appreciating it. Don't bring it to their show. Bring it to this show.
I don't think there is a show. I think it's just talking about after the fact. So we have a show like this. There's no Globers here. Nobody's interrupting this little back and forth saying, what are you guys talking about? There's loads of science. Here it is. No, we're just discussing admin. That's all this is. It's a bit of admin that we're discussing.
Oh, no, there's after shows. Like other people after you're done come in and they record clips and stuff like Danny, Puppy, Nakes. And what they do is they do another sort of version of you. They level it up, if you will. They say, now that was the shit show. Now it's time for the real show. And then you're like, okay, well, sure, I'll partake because I think I can defeat you anyway.
losing
Oh, wait
their
a second.
arms and
This is fighting
legs.
words now.
They lose. They
Yeah,
lose.
it is.
They record themselves losing their arms and legs, and then play it back for themselves later that night as a comfy blanket with
No,
a glass of warm
they
milk
don't.
to go to sleep.
No, they don't. What they do is everyone gathers around the Black Knight and they go, watch, Black Knight. We're going to have the same fight you did, but where the opponent's got no sword. So they go, watch this. Gravity science. Look, the guy's not slicing my arm off. Watch it again. We'll do it again. And what's that? Someone else has come in that says it isn't science. Mute them.
That works.
Yeah, and anybody this happens to, and it's almost to the point now where the Christian flat earthers are the minority on the server. It's just dominated by globalists and atheists.
Let me
It's
get
like
it straight.
Gen
Hold
Panda.
on. Let me get it straight.
Okay, go ahead.
So you're saying, apart from when we're live, the server is dominated by people who claim they've got globe science. Yet when 1 hour
Yes.
out of the 24 hours in a day, that 1 hour is the only time when other people can hear what's being said, apart from in their little bunkers, and they don't present science at all. That seems weird to me. Does it not seem weird to you?
Well,
Yeah, and that's kind of why I think it's important, because without you, this server is nothing. And it almost seems like the server is being used as a rokie doke to make fun of you behind your back, and also other Christian creationists.
Man,
It almost feels like,
you know how
for
to
me, it's like
negatively
it's
speak.
right
You're a
just
before-
very
cockroaches
Hold
when
on,
the
hold on.
lights are off. That's all. It's just
Hold on, you're
cockroaches.
you're watching the cockroaches laugh. We're cockroaches, and when the darkness comes, we rule. That's nice.
Yeah, and I've used that argument that, like, basically it's you flip the sunlight. When the sunlight is out, they run, and when the darkness comes, all the cockroaches come out with their shitty arguments, and now that's dehumanizing, and I'm muted.
When Nathan
So you
goes
can't even
live,
call
it's
it for truth.
raid.
Oh, sorry, chocolate. Go ahead.
Good one, chocolate.
I missed it.
Oh, that was a good one.
You remember the
So
commercial
basically,
with
what I'm getting at here.
the roaches?
Oh, sorry,
The
chocolate.
raid commercial.
Oh,
Yeah.
raid. Oh, right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So when
raid.
Nathan goes live, somebody says raid, and they all run, scatter
Yeah,
like
they'll
roaches.
go, oh, right. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
you're so toxic to the Glovers, Nathan. You're so toxic.
But however, it sounds like, we're in this area that's surrounded by globetards that think they've got science, and it's very telling. It's like, that's a good point. I've never once been accused of being in a server, i.e. the public gateway, the bit that you can, as a member of the public talking to the audience now, the bit that you can join in the link below is what we're discussing. That's the gateway for the public, the Discord server. Now, during the single hour that I utilise it, it's obviously a fairly diverse group of people that definitely don't agree. There's plenty of people arguing the toss. In fact, it sounds like the majority of the time claiming that they've got globe science. Yet we don't get to hear about it on the live show. Isn't that weird? Very telling. Very good to know.
Yeah, no, and this is why, because afterwards, Righteous Force, which appears to be demonically possessed, is letting these atheists get away with turning the place into the Roach Motel. And if you got a Christian conservative, talking about this science, they will shut you down
Hold
and
on.
ice wall you.
Being
It's like
unreasonable.
almost like, and then you ask him what rule did I violate? He just sends
Hold on.
Bible
Before you launch into a
messages
personal
to you.
attack on Righteous Force, try and look at it in a different way. You've got a very negative attitude. I'm not being mean. I know you've been muted or whatever, but still, right? Try and look at it from his point of view. So what you're saying is he's the manager of a hotel that's infested with cockroaches, and you're moaning at him about the cockroaches. Now, personally, I think he's got a very difficult job on his hands, and he's got a lot of cockroaches to deal with by the sounds of things. So I'm not being funny, but try and look at it at least a little bit from his point of view. Now, I know it's difficult when you're on the end of whatever is perceived by you as being wrong, but still, try and have a bit of empathy for the guy.
Yeah,
I
that's
don't
what
know
I'm
if he
saying. And you
can.
try to talk to him about these things, and he
with the
won't.
cockroaches.
Yeah, I
We are
think he's
getting two
siding with
people
the
at once.
Chris,
Guys,
right.
guys,
Go.
hello, just one at a time. Crit's trying to get it off his chest, and every time he talks, someone's talking through him. Go ahead, Chris.
Well, no, I think MG wanted to talk because he's got a very similar experience too, and he's kind of a firebrand like I am.
Unfortunately, this is the great deception, gentlemen, and as in Sodom and Gomorrah it's going to stay. And as good as Nathan Oakley can be at his job, he can't control the other facets of how things work. Crit is pretty much spot on, but it's not just one little issue. I mean, 24/7 Flat Earth Discord is like 24/7 Sodom and Gomorrah all the time. If you're a Christian at all and you're going to defend the Bible, you're going to get persecuted. That's what the Bible says. So you got to take some positive outlook on this, Crit, where you are going to get attacked for who you are, but you're absolutely right. And Nathan's not going to understand because he's not you. The best you can do is what you just did is get back on here, speak your piece, and that's it. And you're going to find the people who support you. You're going to find out who your enemies are. But remember, Paula, the Bible literalist, was banned for over a year from 24/7 Flat Earth Discord because she ignored the moderators there. So talk about a heap of Satanist perverted criminals. Trust me, they are everywhere.
Thank you. That's wonderful. But before we go around accusing the people who work extremely hard, given that while it might seem like they are in control of the server because they have administrative powers, some of the instances are actually the opponents that have moderator status, which I appreciate. I think that's good. It should be a bit more balanced in terms of the moderation, which is going to leave people caught in the crossfire like yourself, Crit, which is unfortunate, and it seems like I should have a bit more empathy for you, maybe, from your position. You're probably fuming, but by the same token, it sounds like this is actually an extremely well-moderated Discord server. Now, the fact that there's going to be always, you can't please everyone all of the time. It's never going to happen. And in this instance, you're one of those people. Now, that might seem like, oh, God, I think you could take my specific example a bit more seriously. And I do, even though we're in the middle of a live show and it has turned into an admin show. It gives the audience an idea of how the land actually lies. Well, the land in this Discord server is going to be very similar to the land anywhere else, right? Most people think they're on a sphere and that we're stupid idiots. Now, do you think that's going to change because you've got a server that's moderated in part by people on your side? Well, clearly not. Now, I still have to come back to the fact that I think, shout out to all the moderators in 24/7 Discord and Science vs. Pseudoscience, it's a bloody hard job when the majority of the people aren't on your side and you've got to seem in some way temperate and moderate and actually keep them on your side somehow, when most of them hate your guts. So, you know, I still have to take my hat off to Righteous Force and say, you know, good job, and to all the people in 24/7 Discord. Now, yeah, there's going to be someone in there that bans someone like Paula, and Paula's going to feel outspoken and outraged. Also, I know that Paula appreciates that a lot of what she says is a controversial thing, and I have no doubt that she'll come back and say, actually, no, I got banned for this menial thing. But it's not the point. There's going to be people caught in the crossfire. You can't please all the people all the time, and moderating a server like this, which I'm very, very privileged to get the use of, is a hard job. So, as much as I empathise with you also, Crit, although it hasn't seemed that way in this particular outburst or monologue, it's, you know, it's one of those things, you know, and you've got as much advice as I can think we can offer in this regard. And Pillbox, please stop defaming people with satanic claims about them.
Hold on, Paula is ace.
No, I got that, and I got that. I totally understand every word of that, and voting with your feet is very important. But the issue is that Righteous Force just plays video games all day. He gets a message from an atheist that say Crit is the problem. So then Crit, so he gets pissed.
Exactly.
So he's actually said this.
Right, number one, no. Number one is
moderation over there is really not that superior. Yes, it's big. Yes, it's difficult. But at the same time, they could absolutely do better. And I don't think that it's like, oh, be super forgiving. No, it is a bit of a mess at times. And he's not. Sleeping Warrior in the chat is also harping on how he harps on about that for a while. But I agree. It really isn't all that structurally cohesive in how things are done. It isn't. But yeah, it's a big server indeed. And there's a lot of people in chat. That's going to make things messy per default. And it's going to be very hard to find very emotionally stable moderators to deal with that.
So to do with their emotional stability or their commitment, given that they're doing it off their own back without pay, in their spare time.
In the moment, when you need big groups, you start to behave in a certain way, even to claim authority. You have to. It's difficult in a big group to uphold that dynamic, and they could do better. And there are some people in there that are just not realizing the essential growth. They're not. They're sticking to what they have done always, and that's not helping.
May I offer a
Well,
perception?
he that answereth a matter before he heareth, it is a folly and shame unto him. There are much bigger issues than the flat earth guys. If you don't even have a heart to allow someone to speak and you're going to block them and you hate them, the Bible says that if you hate someone unjustly, you are as a murderer. And that would be 24/7 Sodom and Gomorrah. Thanks for playing.
That's
Come on, that's not
extremely over-exaggerated and not my angle to.
Nope. When you actually listen to both sides, you can make a claim. Until then, I'd be quiet.
Yeah, but you can't come on and shoot down 24/7 like that. That's wrong.
No, they can't attack the Christians. They can't attack God's people and think they're going to get away with it. Period.
Hold on, Neil. No, you can do that. Hold on, Neil.
The world is getting away with shooting at Christians and making them look extremely bad. Yeah, they are.
Okay, we're so far off topic. Right, stop. This started off with Crit moaning about a win. A very negative position that he's been put into by this turning into what we now have. And that's how it's successful. In other words, you end up telling people about how they've gone to Sodom and Gomorrah because they've gone to debate a subject. Yeah, they've been caught in a crossfire, can't keep everyone happy. But then rather than discussing the fact that why haven't they got an explanation for the gas pressure without a container? I've almost forgotten myself your winning point. There's pictures from space. Pictures from space not being real. Why? Well, because we can't have a travel destination through a sky vacuum. Well, what's the response? Well, this is the net result of them doing what they've done, isn't it? Yeah? Us talking about bloody 24/7 being Sodom and Gomorrah? No, the sky's not a vacuum.
He wasn't talking about 24/7. He was talking about righteous mod in one side of the conversation.
Oh, I knew them.
No, Nathan, correct.
Hold on. I knew the first word off his lips would be about somebody. Go ahead, Sleeping Warrior. Feel free. Say your piece.
Chris's point was that the moderation was one-sided. Am I right?
Yes, exactly what I'm trying to say. It's almost one-sided to the point where they can sit there. If you look at the comments now, it's all about crit, how bad a crit is. I'm a troll. I'm swear words, actual curse words. None of it being
No, you're
moderated.
right.
But somehow
You're right.
I was
I
the
agree.
problem.
I agree with what you're saying, Chris. That was my experience, and that's why I left, because the moderation was one-sided against Flat Earth by Flat Earthers. Like, they say whatever they want. They can be as nasty and as horrible and as vile and crude and vulgar as they want. And you peep back with one response, they then start moaning about your behavior, and then you get muted. It's not acceptable. It's wrong.
Totally
That
wrong. They're
sounds
right here. Crit
familiar
is a
too, if
stupid
that's
idiot.
really the case.
Not moderated. Completely left the stand. You
I
know,
can't
like
believe I'm
all these
agreeing
things.
with
point
Sleeping
wasn't-
Warrior. It's amazing.
Yeah,
His
but
point
here's
wasn't
this
about the
one.
winning argument.
Crit
We all
is a
know the winning
lying
argument. His point was
shit.
that he was modded.
Unmoderated.
Yeah, well,
So this is what
well,
tells me
coming
that
from-
Righteous Force is
coming
not
from
doing
me-
a good job. He's working with
Yeah.
the atheists to science flat Earth, and people need to wake up to this.
I totally agree.
Yeah. Yes, I whistle with this crit up because I mean even Righteous Forces muted and banned me just because I speak truth. It's crazy.
He's right, though.
Yeah, I would say like.
Chris is right.
Sorry, go ahead.
Maybe they're part of the safe space science revolution or something. Because their science, does need a safe space by now. Because it's so broken, it's so outdated. They need a safe space just in order to be able to focus on playing around with it at this point.
Maybe we can get some feedback because Righteous is in the chat. So I don't know. Maybe we could see
I'll
what
give
the
the
other
feedback.
side
Morning.
is. Maybe.
It was the reason
Good
I
morning,
left
good morning.
that Discord server.
Good morning, good morning. How are you guys all doing?
Hey.
This requires an
Hey,
introduction.
hey,
Hold on.
What's up, Sleepy?
Let's just give it an introduction. So this is Righteous Force, the guy who's been talked about for the majority of this live show.
Really?
Oh,
Why
boy.
do you mod against Flat Earth, Righteous, when you allow them to get away with absolute fucking murder and you won't let
No
us
swearing.
respond to defend ourselves?
Stop. First and foremost, this is not going to be a hostile engagement between you two. Thank you for moderating this server, first of all. Hopefully, we'll have some reasonable questions put to you without hostility. Try again, please, Sleeping Warrior.
Why do you moderate only one side of the discussion and you allow them to get away with murder? And the minute there's any response back against the vileness and vulgarness that they present, we get muted as though we've done something wrong. Why is it so heavily balanced against us and it's not 50-50 or equal?
Because we're on the winning side.
Your name,
That was
right?
aimed at Righteous, by the way.
Righteous, that's to you, man.
If you guys have a problem with the way I run the server, you guys can always take it to Quantum Eraser or Betty.
Yeah, I did. And I left because of it. Because they basically sided with you and said that you're a really good guy. And I think your moderation sucks. And I want to know why it's one-sided against Flat Earth when we're the minority.
Well, you're entitled to your opinion. But
Yeah,
unfortunately,
but I wanna know
Betty
why.
You're
runs the
going to be a
server.
bureaucrat,
Two
That's
people.
what you
I
all
want to know
Are
why.
we? Just two
Why?
people. Just one at a time.
He does
just
it every
Sleeping
time. He
Warrior.
doesn't give answers. He's
Guys,
just pointing you at somebody else.
Please.
He doesn't want to justify it.
Yeah, we don't know if we can't
Look,
hear him.
you guys are just basically, you guys can't even support any of your claims. You guys are just talking.
Really?
No,
People
answer
talk.
the question. Answer the question. Why is it
Wow.
one-sided moderated against Flat Earth, and you allow them to get away with absolute murder? But when we respond with one comment, they all jump on it and say that we're bullying, and then that Flat Earther gets muted. You did it with the domesticated primate. I've seen you do it with numerous people. Why? Why is it one-sided? Don't tell me I'm entitled to my opinion.
I'm not gonna
Explain
discuss
the reason.
moderation out. I'm not gonna discuss moderation out in the open. Okay, this stuff is private and should be kept bottled up so drama is not created.
Sounds like
There's a reason why
that's
things
that kind
are
of behavior that sounds like gatekeeping to me.
Hold on.
I just need to
Look,
say something to
guys,
Righteous Force
hello,
right now. You
hello.
guys-
Just feed me a Sleeping Warrior.
Hello. Just Sleeping Warrior. Just don't interrupt them, please. I'm asking, please let Righteous Force answer. He's saying moderation should be kept private. He might give more
Look.
justification, but I just want to hear him say it clearly, please.
Nathan is right. It should be kept private.
That's
And
not
even
my
Betty
opinion.
said the Sleeping Warrior.
Hold on. That's not my opinion. I'm echoing what you've said to give you a lead in.
All right. It's not corrected. Betty did say the Sleeping Warrior, if you got something, you can talk to me privately. Betty's orders.
and I
Betty's
did,
server.
and I did, and she supported your moderation, and I said I don't agree with that. If that's the position, I need to leave because it's. And I did
So you
leave.
said
I
you can
voted with my
discuss it
feet
with
and I
me,
left.
and instead of
But I'm
talking
not the
with
only
me,
one that's
you blocked me.
noticed this.
Wait, hold on.
Look, and instead
Righteous,
of
you need to,
discussing
hold
with
on,
me
Righteous,
privately,
Righteous,
you
you need
block
to
me.
actually, Righteous, you do need to let him respond also. Just one more time, Sleeping Warrior. Thank you.
I did approach Betty with it. She supported you because you're a good person, quote, and I left because of it. And that doesn't explain the one-sided moderation. I want to know, why is it one-sided against flat earthers for responding when they get attacked by 5-6 blurthers with vile, crude vulgarness? Why does that one person that gets attacked not get protected by the blurthers? But the moment he responds back, he then gets muted. I saw it with domesticated primate myself.
Betty said you can discuss this with me privately.
Yeah, and I did.
We don't have to discuss this out in the open in front of everybody.
I did
I'm a reasonable
discuss
person.
of course.
I will chat with you.
She support.
No,
I've
you.
addressed that. She supported
Just let
you.
him
She
respond.
supported you because you're a good guy.
Right, Sleeping Warrior. It's going to take forever if every time you interrupt each other. Just let him say his piece again. I know he's repeating himself. Go ahead, Righteous Force.
Right. Betty said you can talk to me, okay? But instead, you refuse to take me off block, so we can't communicate. Instead, you take it out in the open in front of everybody.
No, stop. So Betty
It's
said,
sunlight.
All right, may as well say my piece. May as well say my piece, right, Crit? So
Yep.
so here's the thing. Here bro, what the fuck?
Nobody's interrupting you.
All right, everybody is we hear you, man.
We hear you, Elijah. Go ahead, man.
Hello. Is anyone
Right.
out
We
there
can hear you.
hearing me
You
trying to
might
get
have to
through?
re-log in again.
Huh.
I think he's having Discord issues.
Wonderful.
Might be
May I
technical
just say
difficulty.
something before this Elijah comes back? We have
The last
5
thing I heard.
people right
Hold
now
on,
on
guys.
this panel.
Right, the last thing I heard was Sleeping Warrior's response that he's tried to take it up with you privately. That's the last thing I heard.
No, I never.
Right.
I tried to say something. I got spoke over. Let me say it again so it's clear. Righteous said you could bring it up with Betty. And I did bring it up with Betty, and I refused to take you off block because I don't agree with your one-sided moderation. So I left. Betty supported your moderation. I don't agree with that. I left because of it. I didn't
Well,
not take you off block because I didn't want to speak to you. I don't want to speak to you. But now I do. I'd like to know what's your reasoning for being one-sided.
well, if you want to speak with me, you can take me off block and we can do it privately.
Can you not do
He
that?
I don't
doesn't
want to do it
address
Hold
privately.
on, hold
things.
on.
Stop
He's-
asking, Tony.
Yeah,
He
this
does
is-
not address it. He
That's it.
never will.
That's it. Hold on.
That's why.
God,
Sorry,
oh,
Zone, and
for the
there's
love of
nothing you can
God,
do
I'm
about
trying to
it.
keep control. Can't you take a hint? Sleeping Warrior. That's the resolve that he's offering. That's it.
Yeah, and so basically my response to that is I don't want to take you off block to talk to you privately because there are more than one person that's noticing this thing. Now, if you can't address that publicly, that speaks
I can't-
volumes. So thank you for your answer. It's a
I'll
it's a
tell you-
shady one.
I'll tell
It's
you
a
why I
shady
can't
one, but I
address it out in the
appreciate
public.
your answer.
Guys, God. Go ahead, Righteous.
I can tell you why I can't address it in the public. Because between
I'm not
others,
interested.
it's personal.
I'm not
it's private.
interested.
I am.
don't
Please,
discuss-
can we hear it? Thank you. Go ahead, Righteous.
I don't discuss what I do with others out in the open. It should be private. All right?
All right, but right
Hiding
now,
in the
Not really.
darkness like a cockroach.
Moderation.
So between
Moderation doesn't.
Hold on. Go ahead,
Moderation
Sleeping
doesn't
Warrior.
need to be private. It needs to be fair. Either moderate both sides evenly or moderate neither side at all. But you can't mute the flat earthers that stand up for themselves when they're being attacked by 3, 4, 5 vile people. But if you think that's not something to be spoken about publicly, okay. But that's the reason why I left.
all right.
may
well,
I
that's
say
your choice.
something, please?
If there's a conclusion from Righteous Force, you can. Go ahead, Righteous.
Well, that's his choice. I mean, it's what can I say? It's his choice, his choice.
Okay, just so it's reiterated by me. Would you be willing to explain why it is at least perceived by Anthony that you are biased in your moderation against flat earthers? Forget about
And Chris,
specific
and
individuals. Sleeping Warrior, please. Not anyone specific. Just feel free if you want to. You don't have to. I'm just re-asking what Anthony's asked, so it's obvious and
It's-
clear.
It's actually not true. It's because I'm not biased. Is why
And
there's
I'm
an
calling
issue.
that out. That's a
Yeah, you
lie.
are.
That's a lie. Why are you lying? You are literally like, I witnessed you do it to domesticated primate and others, and I left.
Right.
You are lying. Why?
May I please say what I
Elijah?
got to say?
No,
It's,
please, can you put a lid on it?
Just let
You
him
know, it'd be
respond.
simpler if it was
Ted.
just me
I
and
want to know
Sleeping
why
Warrior,
he's just
guys.
said that when it's blatantly untrue.
That's your claim.
It's true. I witnessed it. But you are the reason I left because of what you did to domesticated
I can't-
primate and
I can't
others.
say-
Chris is right to
I
criticize you.
can't say why domesticated primate, what happened to him. I can't say why. All right, because it's between me and him. I shouldn't, say things about him out in the open. It's not nice.
But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter with regards to just DP. What matters is that you're one-sided. So that's an example of one-sidedness that I witnessed myself and others. So if you don't want
Right.
to address that generally, and you don't want to address it specifically to DP, then all we can say is that's gatekeeping.
Look, I can't discuss how I moderate others and why I did because it's not nice, not
Yeah,
polite.
you can. That's
No, it's not
bullshit. You
nice.
don't have to drag in people's personal and private information to just address how you moderate things. And there's a complaint about how you moderate things. So address it. You
Right.
said you
So if there's a
tried
complaint, you
to
take it
be
to Betty.
fair. Well, listen up. You're not. It's not succeeding if that's what you're trying. And we got complaints.
Well, then that's between you guys and Betty, not me.
Yeah, you got to stop trying to hide behind Betty.
Point at
Elijah,
the
go
other
ahead.
person, of course.
No, he's right. He's right. He's right. I actually agree with that. It was raised to Betty. Betty did side with him and basically supported his decision to moderate. He's right. It is between Betty and others.
Right. That's right. It's Betty's house.
Yeah,
I'm
Betty
running-
can't protect
I'm
you from
running
your
for
actions, Righteous.
What's that?
You need to humble yourself. Believe the word of God. If you
See,
love
so the
God,
problem
you
is
love His
not gonna be
children.
resolved.
Stop
Right. I
persecuting.
live at
You want to
right.
complain?
I live at
hello.
peace with all men.
Before it
get on
descends
with
into
Betty,
chaos.
get
Hello.
her
Calm
to
down.
actually
Hello,
make a
trying to gain
decision
control
on it.
again before it descends into chaos. Sleeping Warrior and
Alright.
Righteous Force. Anything to conclude with?
Sleeping box.
I agree with Righteous.
Pillbox is right. We're supposed to live at peace with all men. And when we do that, we're supposed to be respectful towards all men, not air out
Yeah,
everything in the
well-
public. Because that's what respect is and peace.
Well, let me let my final word, and then I'll mute up. We should be living at peace with each other. However, I actually agree with Righteous. If Betty supports his decision, then the issue is not with Righteous. The issue is with Betty, unfortunately. And I don't have a personal problem with Betty, but the issue does lie with Betty. I agree with, but Chris is right to criticize.
Thank you, Sleeping Warrior.
all right. Can I get my statement in now?
I would like to hear it.
Yes, it's 10th man. Go ahead. Thank you, Sleeping Warrior and Righteous Force.
There's at least 5
you, Nathan.
people on this panel right now who are saying the same thing about Righteous Force. 5 individuals. Elijah never got to finish. Everyone else heard everybody else. So obviously, Righteous, there's 5 people on this panel that could say something that they can't say after the show's over. What do you think that is?
Have all these people been moderated by me by any chance?
Yeah,
Let's ask him.
yeah.
Persecuted, yes.
Elijah,
One at a
come on.
time, please.
You're my only hope. Let's go. Nah, not really.
See, yeah, it's all very funny and jokey, and you can just move back and decide not to share your reasons for why the things you do. We know it's all Betty's problem. You don't have to address it. You will never address it. I will put money down in a bet to claim that you will never address it, ever. Guys, Tony?
I got moderated by you for some reason, Righteous, and I don't know why. I'm not interested in knowing either. But I just think that your moderation is overhanded, one-sided, partisan, biased, gatekeeping. It's everything that's wrong with the topic. But you're on our side. Why would you do that against your own people? That's like setting fire
Sleeping
to
Warrior,
your own-
real quick.
your own
Sleeping Warrior,
country
sir, just let
because-
Elijah talk, please, real quick.
Can I answer Sleeping Warrior first, quick? You see,
Why
you said-
can't we let Elijah talk? I don't get it. Why can't we let this guy talk?
Just be quick, because I want to hear Elijah too. Elijah, is it okay?
Don't ask Elijah. Ask me. Yes, it is okay. Go ahead.
Okay. You said because they're on our side. You see, when you said that, you're being a respecter of persons.
No,
I don't
no,
run
no.
the server. Being a
You
respected
are on
person.
our side.
What are you doing using that scripture out of context? What he said is you're a flat earther, our side, not a respecter of persons, judging a person. My goodness.
Correct. He's
All
not
right,
on
Elijah, go ahead.
side. He's on his own side.
See, that's what I mean by demonically possessed.
Okay, yes, I
This
did.
guy can't, you cannot interpret the Bible if I gave you $1 million. That's how bad you are, Righteous. My goodness.
He is. He's really that bad at it.
Okay,
I've tried
thank
to talk to
you,
him
thank
about the
you,
Bible,
thank you.
and he doesn't get it.
Thank you. Can we hear Elijah if he's willing? You there, Elijah? I don't think he can actually hear us. He was trying to get a word in, but go ahead.
Yeah. All I was gonna say, I'm sorry, Righteous. I can't really provide support because I mean I don't necessarily like the
It's
moderation, but
it's
my
all right.
angle is a little
God is my support.
different because I'm not really putting it on you per se. What I'm worried about is that the Discord is the gateway to the audience. You understand? So what I'm saying to Nathan and everyone is to keep in mind that the Discord server is actually the only way genuine people can get through. But there are trolls that have been here for over a year that don't necessarily allow that to happen because they just flood the chat. New people don't, it's not an environment for new people to come in and have conversation because of the moderation. That's why I joined the moderation team.
Okay, Elijah, can I ask you a question? Why not discuss this privately with me since you're a moderator now and we got a moderator room and I made you moderator or Betty made you moderator so you can help out with moderation?
Sure.
Why are you bringing this out in the open
Well,
when
I'm
you
not
have a
because it's not
platform?
really
Because
it's not
it's on
really
the
about you.
table.
It's just something that generally I've always said this. So
Well,
I mean, but I'm definitely willing to talk with you in private. No problem.
well, guess what? You're a moderator, so you're responsible for the server. So you just told them
Well,
yourself.
I just started. I mean, so petty pickings, huh?
Well, then do something about it. You got the authority. I gave it to you, or Betty gave it to you. So use it.
Alrighty then.
Righteous, where do you get off saying God is your support when you're doing decisions on your own and not what God is telling you? How dare you say
Like I
that?
said,
You got people saying that what you're doing is wrong, and you're saying, "Well, God is my support." In that case, God's in it with you. Come on, own up.
I said God stands for me. If like I
You
don't have
said
to
God
like
is
get
my
how do I
support. I
the
heard
way
you.
I worded it was that I don't need people to defend me. God defends me. That's what I
Right, and
meant by
right
that.
now, as a Christian, I'm saying you're wrong. So God is my support. Now what?
And I'm backing 10th man.
He's my support too, Righteous.
We can all say
That's why
God is my
Righteous sides
support,
with
except
atheists.
the
Because
evidence
his
will speak
version-
for
Just,
itself.
I don't want everyone
It's
ganking up on him. Yeah, 10th man's talking to him.
It's between you and God. Then who am I to judge you guys?
Yeah, but you judge everyone else and say God is your support.
Hold on, that's
When
not
I
really.
run a server, I'm put in charge of it.
Hold on.
Then
Before this
yes,
gets
my
lost in the
job
weeds,
is.
hold on, Righteous. You have to exercise judgment when you moderate people, so that's not really a fair response to say,
Well,
well,
hang
who
on.
am I to judge when
I know what a moderator does, and they have to do and use judgment.
Right.
But to say that God is his support in all his judgment is a bridge too far, especially when we got at least 5 people here saying that he's a gatekeeper.
I didn't say that. I said he is my support and sticking up for me. That's how I
Can I
worded it.
hear him?
That's how I
Can I
meant
hear
it.
him right now? Tell me that, please, because I've got Christians on the show right now saying, no, you're a gatekeeper. So what's he telling us about you? But he's telling you, I'm sticking up with you. But now I'm telling you, as a Christian, that you are one-sided.
Okay, with that, I'm going to say if you are watching this on either Nathan Oakley 1980 or Nathan Oakley premiering streams, then stay tuned, as there will be an after show to follow. Unfortunately, if you are watching this live, this is where we bid you farewell. So a huge, massive, enormous thank you to all of you who tuned in. Smash the super chat. I think someone actually just smashed the super chat while I was doing my outro. So shout out to Chow Young Cat, who says, "Hi, Paula at Bible Literalist. I'm not a member, but for only £5, I can beat the system. Power to the people." I see. So Chow Yun Cat, who's not a channel member, has managed to get a chat through on the super chat, without being a member. And it only costs her a £5. What an absolute bargain. You can also get £50 if you want to change your energy supplier to Octopus Energy. That also helps me out. There is a link in the info box below this video. Once again, stay tuned if you're watching on either Nathan Oakley 1980 or Nathan Oakley Premiering streams. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I'll see you all in the next video.
What's him? And I said, okay, that's fine. I'm out of here.
But he
And
had
that's the
no
only way
reason to do it.
No, I agree.
He said, take me off of that. That's what I'm trying to say. And the other thing
There was a
is-
show. There was a show with basically there was too many trolls, blurthers that were sat on mute in Discord, and there was no blurthers in there at all that were prepared to talk. So I started to get them to just either talk or go and listen to it on YouTube. Talk or go and listen to them on YouTube. I started to
I
move them
remember
out.
that
Of
one.
the
You
thing.
kept kicking me out too, and you didn't know who I was yet. I
No,
remember
but
that
ultimately I was
specific
trying to
one.
get conversation.
Ooh,
I was trying to
right.
get conversation.
What's that you say? Neil got caught in the crossfire from Anthony's poor moderation. This sounds terrible.
No,
No.
Anthony was trying to get people to talk. I agreed. Everybody just sitting there, so you just kept kicking people out.
Right.
But then
Neil,
Righteous
and
took my
remember
mod
you
off and he
came
kicked
to me.
and
Remember
then I
you
was
came
like,
to me to do something about it, and I did something about it.
What's that you say, Righteous? You had to sort out this moderation mess.
Oh, that's a miracle.
Anyways, I gotta go,
The
guys.
whole
It's been
show
nice
went
chatting
on
with
that
you guys.
instead of flat Earth.
And hopefully
So
no
they-
hard feelings, and
they
hopefully things
won.
can get resolved if there's a misunderstanding.
So there's some
Okay,
balance,
guys?
Righteous. I'm very, very grateful for your moderation. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Nathan. And sorry I haven't been around lately. I'm gonna sort that out. I've been getting dealt with that, so I apologize for
Absolutely
that. And
no
we'll talk to you guys
obligation
later.
whatsoever. No need to apologise.
The show
Thank you, Nathan, and thank you,
self-moderates
guys.
itself.
See you later.
Just
I
so you don't
only
have to
have
worry
I
about
only
it
have
for
one
hour.
question.
Hold on,
I
we
have
got a
one
lot
question.
of rumblings. Go ahead, Chocolate. I heard you last. Sorry, everyone else.
Yeah, I heard you say earlier you guys can't support your claims. Who's you guys? Who are you talking about?
Flat earthers can't support their claims.
what the fuck are you doing here?
Yeah, get
used
this
to
one
drop
out of
these-
here.
Brother, nobody was talking to your clown ass. I was talking to Righteous, actually.
That's what I came in to ask as well.
What
Yeah,
did
I'm
you come in
curious.
to ask?
Yeah,
That's
you
the only
can't-
thing I'm curious about that.
Not the flat Earth claims. I think he was talking about their claims about his moderating. I think that's what he meant. Because I thought
That's
Let
all.
him say.
I'm just looking for clarification.
Who's looking for
That's
what
you,
now?
Righteous. Come on.
Gone, he's gone, he's gone. He said goodbye. We wished him farewell.
Oh, how convenient.
Yeah, yeah. Brilliant.
But
Look,
we,
So then clown-
many of us
clown ass
handled
Brenda.
these issues in private. Oh wait, go
Now that he's gone, let me talk crap. Nah.
Yeah, let's have the decency to talk absolute garbage when he's not here.
Look, I can
ahead.
tell you right
I
now.
guess Crit got muted again,
among-
so I guess
uh,
Crit's muted.
Hold on. Let me just say a couple more thank yous. Thank you, Sleeping Warrior. Thank you for coming on and expressing your words. Disapproval. Thank you. Also.
Disdain.
Disdain. There you go.
I deal with this quite often because I am a Christian. I have lots of Christian friends and I've been in many different types of churches. And when the Christian says, God told me, or God is my support, when a crowd of witnesses seen him do something wrong and is trying to help him to fix it, and then the only claim is, well, God is my support, that's a very prideful person. That's a person who's not seeing what the accusations are really about, and that the people talking to him are actually trying to help him. And so everyone could say, well, me and God, that's a majority, or God is my support. That's just like hiding. No, you have to talk it out and look at the evidence and then say, yeah, you know what? I screwed up, but he will never do that.
To be honest, I actually agree with Righteous when he said that
I
Betty said it was
have to
okay.
say, because I was basically trying to not talk bad about the man, and he tried to shoulder blame onto me. Like, what?
I actually agree with
Yeah, I was a
Righteous
little crazy.
when he said that
Sleeping
Betty said it was okay. Then unfortunately, that absolves Righteous.
No,
He
I
said
agree.
that
I agree with what you said once you said it in that context. But at the same time, Betty's not here to talk with, is Righteous. And he had at least 5 people who had claims that he discounted and said, it doesn't matter.
I don't
reiterate-
agree at all. I don't agree at all. Righteous did not, from what I heard, he never admitted that he was doing bias moderating. Never said he was going to change. He just pointed towards Betty. So he's moderating against flat earthers. He shouldn't be doing that.
Yeah, but Betty said it's okay.
Who
That's down to
cares?
Betty, not down to
Who
Righteous.
cares?
Let him finish.
Who cares? He
Well,
moderates
I
against
actually
flat
care
earthers.
because
He's not willing to change. Something is wrong there. That's not
Yeah.
flat earth as far as I'm concerned.
He's not a flat earther.
No,
I don't know what he is. I don't know what he is. But what I do know is that
All he's been asked to do is be fair. All he's been asked to do is be fair. He's not been asked to be biased towards the ballers. Just to be fair.
Britt asked him directly, is the earth flat? And Righteous would not answer. He would not answer a simple question. Now, you ask me that question, I'm going to say, yeah, it's obviously and observably flat. So why are you not answering a very simple question if you're a flat earther?
You got a
Yeah,
little bit
exactly.
of power on the
Nice.
internet as a moderator, and now he loves his lusts. Pride of life.
it's gatekeeping in
It's
my
an
eyes
epidemic.
on the basis that even though Betty agrees with his and supports his moderation, whatever reason, that's gatekeeping in my eyes.
Yeah,
Hence why I left.
It's not just one person, though. It's not just, like,
It does.
just one
It
person.
absolutely matters.
Oh,
What
It
matters
does.
is what? No, because he's passing the baton.
No,
It's his
but he's right though
responsibility.
to pass it. No,
Exactly.
listen,
His
he's right to pass it because
responsibility.
Betty's agreed it.
Sleeping
So if I
warrior.
drive a truck for a company and I crash that truck, can I point at the company for my bad driving? No. I'm responsible for that. And he can't
No,
say
I see what you're saying.
nonsense.
I see what you're
That's
saying, but
rubbish.
do you see it from his perspective? If Betty okays
I
it,
don't
then he's
care about his
justified.
perspective. I don't
Yeah,
care.
but this
He's
is
wrong.
something he had to deal with, Anthony. If it's being
I
brought
agree.
to like that, I don't think Betty would say, hey, leave the moderator stuff to moderators alone. No, this is brought out in the open. He had to deal with it right there. And he
Yeah,
didn't.
but I've done it. I've already done it, and she supported him, and I'm sure she'll support him again. And if she does, then we're just back to square one. Righteous has done no wrong. Just vote with your feet and leave.
No, the truth is coming to light, though. If that's true, people will learn for their mistakes, Sleeping Warrior. When people do bad things, eventually it's going to hurt them. And coming to light this way is not bad.
Do you remember when you first came in and you were saying that the cockroaches come out to play the minute Nathan stops broadcasting? Raid, yeah. That is exactly what is happening in a different context when moderators on our side stop the flat earthers from doing what they do to defend themselves. It's basically taking away people's spears and leaving them with nothing to be attacked. That's basically what's happening.
So Crit got muted again, and then somebody left him muted.
I don't see him muted though. We're in the after show. Why?
Maybe he
Nobody's
got
muted.
I don't know.
It's his role. It's his role. It's a role dependent mute.
Well, there's your problem.
There we go. Look at that.
Oh, okay. Well, it didn't show that he was muted by the mic, but I muted and then unmuted him, and it's fixed. Okay, so there we go. I'm learning as a moderator. Sorry, guys. I'm trying to help.
Kind of shows you another thing Righteous Force does. He quick says, "Oh, hey, let me mute Crit real quick. Don't tell any of the moderators I did so," and then tap out like he's got something to do. This guy doesn't work. He doesn't have a job. He won't even say the Earth is flat if you ask him. All he does is play video games all day, and when he gets bored playing video games, he comes in and mutes and bans flat earthers for shits and giggles, and it needs to be addressed.
Yep. But unfortunately, Betty supports it and justifies it, so we can't do anything because Betty agrees with it. So the problem's really with Betty and the server, not with Righteous.
Yeah, so how about
But
moving
he's
Nathan
a
Oakley
flat
show
earther
to
or
a
a
circle?
glober,
Actually,
if he's
that's
supposed to be a
good.
moderator, then he's supposed to be fair.
Yeah,
He's not
And
being
let me
fair.
just
Brian.
let me just clarify. Let me just
Brian, I
clarify.
agree.
My position is
I agree
fundamentally
with
disagree with.
Sleeping Warrior.
Let me just
because
clarify.
the point
I
he's trying.
fundamentally disagree with Righteous with what he's doing. My point is that because Betty supports it and agrees with it, then it absolves him. Unfortunately, the problem's now with Betty.
Right. I was saying that, like Brian is saying, if the person who works for a company does something, do you blame the company? Yes, if the company is telling them that they can do activities that are not, that are against whatever policy, so.
Yeah, you're right.
In
You're right.
comparison,
If the
though,
company is saying, yeah,
Hello,
go ahead
everyone,
and
by the
fuck it up, then that's kind of on the company. But I'm not saying Betty's doing that. I don't know.
Well,
But that's like
Betty is
saying,
doing that.
that's like
I've already brought it
taking
up
your
with her in the
parents'
past,
car
and she
and then
supports
crashing into
Righteous's
somebody, killing
moderation.
somebody, and say, "Well, it's my parents' car. It's not my fault."
What type of logic he uses
Yeah.
because he's not a man. He
Right.
never grew up with
Brian.
responsibility. So now when he has a little bit of responsibility, he doesn't know how to handle it because he's like a child who just plays video games all day.
You're right, Chris.
Brian, I just want to make sure that you understand what my position is. You understand that I fundamentally agree with you that Righteous is incorrect with what he's doing. However, Betty validates it, and therefore I've got no voice. So I'm not against your criticism for Righteous. I agree with that, but Betty supports it.
Oh, I know. I mean,
So Betty's a problem
my
too, then,
frustration is
right?
not to do with you. No, don't get me wrong. It's to do with with Righteous not taking responsibility for doing the job he's supposed to be doing unfairly. He's supposed to be doing it fairly. Doesn't matter if he's a flat earther or a glober. He's supposed to be a moderator. That means you moderate fairly. It's simple.
Yeah, but Betty allows him to do it the way he does it.
I understand you can't do anything about it. No one can do anything if Betty says it's okay for him to do it. It's her server. I really like Betty, but I don't understand why. For me, Betty doesn't even come into it as far as just the principle of it. He's supposed to do a certain job. He's not doing it. I mean,
No, Betty's responsible
for. I don't care
for.
if he wants to be a baller. What?
Betty's responsible for it because she's literally condoning what he's doing. She's responsible.
I understand. I understand that she gives him the position and all that. But I don't mind if Righteous wants to be a baller or unless that's fine. But just do the job fairly, like you're supposed to do. Do what you're supposed to do.
Yeah, but
why
Betty
is he
supports
arguing
it, though.
against that?
I agree completely.
But he points towards Betty. Then it's like he shouldn't be pointing towards Betty. He should say, "It's my responsibility. I should do it better." That's that.
He's absolved. Betty supports it, mate. The problem's not with Righteous, even though he's the problem.
Okay.
Betty says it's okay.
No.
Okay, we've heard that.
No, you can't just do things and then blame other people for your actions and say somebody lets me do it, so it's okay.
Guys, when Pillbox, when someone else is having a conversation, if you just start talking through them, we just can't hear anything. Go ahead, Brian.
Thanks, Nathan. Yeah, Righteous is sending a Betty's direction, but Betty is entrusting that Righteous is doing a solid job. Now, if people are telling Righteous he's not doing a solid job...
No. Betty knows absolutely what he's doing. I've explained it. I've shown her the evidence, and she still supports Righteous. The problem's not with Righteous. Yes, he's doing it wrong, but Betty agrees. So unfortunately, that absolves Righteous. I don't agree with what Righteous is doing, but Betty agrees with it.
Can I be a defense for Betty since she's not here? When as a manager, if anybody's been in a management position or supervisor position or ownership position, if you put people in charge of whatever that position may be, you kind of have to put a level of trust in that person. And then when someone does come and starts bad mouthing the person, they may need to be something maybe looked into, which I know I'm not saying. I mean, I'm a moderator on the server as well. And I've seen both Righteous go both ways with the ballers. I've seen it happen both ways.
Really?
So, yeah, I have. I mean, you're not on it. So if you don't see it, you're not on there all the time. You're not going to see it.
No, but I have seen him. I've seen him single DP, domesticated primate, who is basically a friendly troll on our side to counter the horrible trolls on their side. He's a necessary evil. I don't agree with the way he behaves, but if somebody comes in throwing rocks at you, I'd rather have DP in the chat on our side than not have him in the chat because he's muted. So I can see both sides, but I've never seen Righteous go the other way and stop the trolls on their side from being horrible. I've only ever seen him do it against our lot.
Okay, I got
Well, I
something for
mean,
you right here to
again,
show you that I'm not a
I'm
troll.
a
Okay,
moderator.
I
I'm
can
on the
go.
server.
Listen, I go to
listen.
real
Am I
quick.
talking? Am I
Hold on,
talking?
Paul. Just let
Okay,
Crit
go ahead.
respond.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I
Crit.
want you to know that this claim that I'm a troll, I can debunk very quickly.
Okay, this conversation at the moment wasn't about crit. I'm sorry, it was not about crit. So let's
No,
not
but
go
I'm to
and
let
go
you
down
know
that
that
road.
somehow
Okay,
I'm the only person
I sat on the
muted.
server.
Okay,
I
go ahead.
sometimes go in and just sit and listen. I don't interact. I don't engage. For one, I can't. It's hard because of my job and also with kids. So it's hard, but I do listen. And I honestly, at times, I do see where the flat earthers get a little aggressive. You know what I mean? And I do too. I do too a little bit. And I think that's when Righteous kind of engages a little bit. You know what I mean? So, but also on the Betty's defense, it is her server. I think now, so this is why I can't engage very much. So let me pick her up. Maybe she'll calm down. I mean, it is her server. She can do whatever she wants. But I'm a moderator. I try to moderate when I can. If I see things going off the rail, and I'll jump on both sides. You know, but at the same time, I just listen most of the time. And he may be times maybe you caught him do that. That's fine. You know, if he's done that. But it happens both ways, you know. And I've seen people that are
I
moderators
don't
on
agree.
the flat earth. I see flat earthers. I see moderators on the flat earthers side do the same thing to globe earthers. So if you're going to start pointing fingers, you need to start pointing fingers at all the moderators, not just Righteous, because there's sometimes Righteous is not in there at all. You know,
I've never seen Righteous tell a ball earther troll to behave. I've only ever seen him muting flat
Never.
earthers and just ignoring
Not
anyone
once.
criticizing him for doing it.
Then Anthony, you've probably done the wisest thing you can do: leave the server.
That's what I did, and that's what I would encourage other people to do. If you don't agree
we're
with
done
it, either way.
criticizing. We're done criticizing Betty. We're done criticizing Righteous. Because
No,
honestly,
I haven't
if you're not
criticised
in
Betty.
there, if you're not in, you
I
are
haven't
kind of in a
criticised Betty. Let's just be clear. I haven't criticised Betty, and I did support Righteous in the end. Righteous has made his position clear. It's supported by Betty, and that absolves him. So the only thing you can do is step back and walk away, and that's what I did.
Okay. Well, then there's no more criticism. No more criticism of the server at this point.
Why?
Because Anthony's made his
Amen,
choice and voted
gentlemen.
with his feet. That's why.
No, I know, but is general sweeping statement? There's no more criticism of the server, or is
I'm talking about towards Sleeping Warrior. People that are still in the server, I think they can talk and discuss it because we're in it all the time. And I'm not saying that. Okay, so see what happens when I try to get this.
No, I got you now. In context, you were just talking since Anthony's decided with his feet, he's done. I got you.
Listen, Righteous sucks. That's all there is to it.
No, he doesn't. No need, man. No
Righteous is fair.
No need.
I'm entitled to my opinion.
Yeah, and I'm entitled to say no need.
No criticizing Neil, please. It's over. So
Nathan's liberalism is a double-edged sword. It works half the time.
What about you, 10th? Given that my view is that Paul's just correctly pointed out that I voted with my feet, therefore I left, therefore I don't have a voice. Does that mean that 10th doesn't get to voice his opinion, or does that mean that 10th has got to comply and shut up as well? Because I don't know.
No, I don't think Paul meant it that way after I asked him, because that's how I felt at first. But he explained that he's just talking to you about your case. So I've already said it. I don't like the way Righteous moderates. I don't think him hiding behind the Bible and God is a valid excuse for his incompetency for his job. I don't go to the server afterwards. Nathan Show's the only show I come on this whole Discord realm of, and I disagree vehemently with Betty on everything discussed today. And I voted with my feet.
But
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
But see, the thing is, I think that people mix two things. Can I go?
Go on, Elijah. Go, Elijah.
Yeah, I think people are conflating two things. So on one hand, you might not like Righteous personally because of how he does things. Okay, everybody. Okay, I get that. All right,
nobody's made it
but
personal.
I'm
Let's
also
not make it
not
personal.
willing.
Yeah, it's
I'm
not
also not
personal,
willing
Elijah.
to say that he does unfair moderation That's because that's not my argument. My argument is that there isn't the moderation that is necessary. But when he comes in, like the reason he doesn't attack,
You need to cup your mic.
without
Cup
being
your mic.
aggressive.
Hello? Hello?
Sorry.
You need to cup your mic.
Yeah.
Cup your mic.
Oh,
Put your
is that
hand
better?
around the mic
Is that
to block the wind.
is it better now?
Yeah, go ahead.
So what was I saying? Yeah, I see righteous for the reason that Globers get away with it more than flat earthers is because specifically flat earthers are aggressive and the globe earthers have learned to troll without being aggressive. And as you pointed out, yes, he does play video games. He's not always in there. And so he almost, it's like when he hears aggression and he's around, that's when he tries to mediate. And it really doesn't even have anything to do with the subject matter. So that's just like something that I've seen.
And actually, let me jump on that because I think I agree with Elijah in this one. I think half the time Righteous is not paying attention.
Hold on. Yeah, carry on. Sorry,
So
Elijah had to mute.
Go ahead.
Yeah, just need to get control because Elijah was still on mute and all we can hear is wind noise. He's sorted now. Go ahead, Paul.
Okay, now I agree with Elijah on this one. I think a lot of what we're seeing is Righteous is not always paying attention because I'm not always paying attention, and sometimes I jump in the middle of the situation. Oh my goodness! But sometimes I jump in and I don't know the context of what's happening. And I think he does that as well. I think he jumps in and doesn't know exactly what's happening, and then he moderates and just the aggression. Not anything else. Okay, I can't do anything. Go ahead, guys.
You're doing a good job moderating right now.
Well, I think it's interesting too that a lot of these people who have like audio issues with or kids in the background, they're distracted, so they're not paying attention to what the globalists are doing. Then they say, well, obviously the one flat earther must be the problem because these 8 globalists all arguing against that one flat earther. There's a problem, so just remove the flat earther. Because you pick people
that
like
is
who are
not how it goes in this server,
Chris,
at all.
Hold on. Why is the flat earther removed at all? At all.
At all,
Chris,
yeah.
I think we've got to the conclusion of your gripe, Chris. Your gripe was that Righteous was one-sided moderating, and I agree, and other people agree as well. And then he said that Betty, well, I pointed out that Betty supported him, and that absolves him from all liability because it's down to Betty. You're left with 2 choices: you either accept it and put up with it, or you vote with your feet and leave. I hope that concludes your point.
Betty should have never.
Yeah, it does. And really, I think at the end of the day, it's like if everyone leaves, then Nathan Oakley show goes down, right? Is that what you? That's basically what Nathan Oakley is saying. He doesn't want flat earthers here because he supports.
Nathan Oakley's not saying anything. He's
No,
not saying
that's
anything.
not
Don't
true.
put words in his mouth.
Righteous
I didn't
is
say
very
anything.
fair.
I've been very quiet. Let's make that clear.
Nathan's show would be the 1 hour to 1 hour and a half show, and then you go do something else and don't visit it. Like I've that's what I do. I just come for this show because Nathan's not hostile at all. He allows everyone to talk, and it just eventually gets measured out.
I've never heard anybody say Nathan's not hostile.
No, he's not hostile to your point of view. He allows people to come in. Obviously, if they're going to attack family members and ad hom all the time, that's different. But the whole point is he doesn't block anybody. Everyone's welcome to the show, and he's not hostile to atheists. He's not hostile to Christians. He's just an open forum to discuss the nature of our reality.
Which brings me back around to my point. We have to care about what happens when the show is not going on, because the Discord is the place because the Discord is the place where new people and trolls and flat earthers alike have to come to get on the show. So if it's not sorted out to where new people have some path to the show, then that's a problem. That's the only point I'm trying to make.
Well, why don't you start your own Discord channel, and because it's not that hard to do.
I mean, I'm conflicted in the sense that once, like Paul Hall showed, that once I'd stepped out, that's for kind of my input stopped, and 10th is in the same position because he's left too. Then we're left with, well, if that doesn't conclude the point for Chris, then what else is there, Chris? Because we can't really do anything. That is the end of the point as far as I can see.
Yeah, it's like the Portland effect. Just let this place sink into a complete roach motel, and then everyone can wonder why there isn't any flat earthers left on the server. They got ran away because anytime they tried to
but that's not.
oh, go ahead.
That might be true, but that's not really your business, though, is it? And I don't mean that in a personal way. I just mean that if that is the outcome, then that's between the person that's running the server and the person that's running the show to work that shit out.
Righteous is fair. There's nothing wrong with what Righteous is doing.
Oh,
I agree.
gosh.
He takes up moderation on both sides.
Let's hear this. Go ahead,
fair enough.
Virus. Go ahead.
I'm a baller, by the way.
He does excellent moderation on both sides. He doesn't let neither side troll. He don't let neither side talk about each other. He is a very fair person. The only people that really have a problem with this is flat earthers that don't want people who represent the globe in the server.
Not true.
Yeah, you're
Are
a
you serious, bro?
What a load.
This is why
Hold on. There's plenty of flat earthers to challenge it. Who wants
shit
to...
like that?
Hold on.
I do.
Hello. Right, he's just said the only reason that is being expressed as the view is because the people on the flat earth side don't want the globers there. Now, there's plenty of people who are on the flat earth side to challenge it. Who's going to take up the reins? And it's just going to be you and Virus.
Well, okay, sorry.
Okay, so Akubu, the problem that I have with what you said was you said that no trolling is done and he stops all the trolling. No, he doesn't, because there's a lot of passive aggressive
He's not
behavior.
100% because he's not.
Hold on, Virus.
Go ahead.
Virus, just let him respond.
I'm
Hold on.
sorry.
You will get your turn. Go ahead, Elijah.
There's a lot of passive aggressive behavior that goes on that if you're not paying attention to the context of what's going on, you could get lost in the sauce. That's kind of the problem.
That just seems like a problem with implication, like you're implying something not there. That's what that sounded like to me just now. And if that's the case, that's a personal issue, not an issue with the moderation.
Ow! What are you doing? Sorry, bit my foot.
Can you stay on mute, Sleeping Warrior? We don't need to hear you being attacked by your dog.
Sorry.
Wrestling a
I
chihuahua.
didn't even touch him. He thought I was going to touch him.
Good boy, Mickey.
Are you okay?
Hang on. Does your dog bite? No, that is not my dog.
What I would say to Atom Virus there is if there wasn't a problem, then people wouldn't be complaining. All people are asking for is fair moderation. Now, for you might be happy with the moderation on the globe side of things, but obviously flat earthers are not. And I used to go in there one time myself, and it would be a case of I'd be there and there'd be 3 or 4 globers, and I'd have to I'd overshout them. It just became a pointless act. Just overshout them and interrupt them more than they could do to me. That's all it was for 2 hours. What's the point? There's no correct moderation going on if that's what's going on.
Okay, can we get any more? Thank you, Brian. Can we get any opinions from any other globers? Are there any globers in Discord that are dissatisfied with the way that the server's moderated? Dissatisfied.
Mark Taylor's here. Mark Taylor could open his mic and say
you don't have to speak for him. Hello. He can speak for himself if he wants to. Is anybody dissatisfied from the globe side with the server and its moderation?
Of course not. They're protected by righteous force.
They're going to love it. Of course they're going to love it. Kumo's proof of
Hello.
that.
You don't need to speak for them.
Well, they've posted a lot of stuff in text that you're not seeing. This is why I think they should open their mic now.
Yeah, exactly, Chocolate. Thank you. If there's anybody dissatisfied from the globe side with the moderation, please speak now.
Yeah. Once you leave, they'll.
Let me get this straight. So, the server that is being used to present Flat Earth debate, the opponents, that would be the globe side in this instance, there is no complaints whatsoever about how the server is being moderated. Further to that, Virus, who is very much on the Globe side of the argument, is very happy with the way that the server is moderated. I'd just like to point that out for my audience's benefit. And then reiterate that 23 out of 24 hours a day it's claimed that there's scientific evidence for the globe. But yet when we're live, we get nothing. Now, it's nothing to do with the moderation. They're not exactly unhappy in the server. They just don't have any scientific evidence, Crit. Just to round out your point that this started with.
Yeah, I got you. And this is why I think it's unfair that I'm muted when I hold them to task when you guys leave. I feel like, and I'm not a troll because on Gem Panda server, I'm not considered a troll there. I'm considered a champion flat earther. Multiple different servers I talk on, no one says I'm a troll. Yet Righteous Force says, here, I'm a troll. And then he says, take it up with Betty. Then he says, oh,
I'm
but
going to have to disagree with you there, Chris. I don't think Gem Panda server thinks anybody's a champion flat earther. They think we're all retards. So
why are you speaking for Gem Panda server?
I'll speak about the moderation if you give me 5 minutes.
Go ahead, Mark.
I've just got to do something. I'll be back in 5 minutes.
Oh, I see. Yeah, no worries. When you come back, yeah, Mike's all yours.
All right. And also, I'll tell you guys what happens and how the passive aggressiveness gets through, because someone pointed it out. So there might be, when you guys leave, like not that many flat earthers talking, which is, I guess, why is Crit's like, what the fuck? Where's the flat earthers, right? But on the other side, like say I want to come in midday and have a debate. There's 4 or 5 globe earthers to calmly talk over me until I shout them down, which Righteous will then point out my aggressive behavior.
Yep, I completely agree with that.
That goes both ways. That goes both ways. It's the same thing for me. If I decide to come in during the day, there'll be about 3 or 4 flat earthers talking. I can never
So
get a
you're
word
not
in
happy
myself.
then? Oh,
It
okay.
happens
Where
both
was
ways.
this at?
It's fair. It's
Hold on.
fair.
So
It happens both ways.
He's saying it's the same
Yeah,
exact
I will-
scenario if the tables are turned. Someone like Virus comes into 5 flat earthers discussing the subject, and the only way he can get a word in edgeways would be potentially to be aggressive, and then he'd get a moderator shut him down. So he's saying it's the same for both sides. That's his point.
That's not what's in contention here. It's Righteous Forces moderation that's in contention.
Okay.
Yep, but but we're back to Righteous and he's absolved by Betty. So let's move to Betty now, and then what? Leave. That's the conclusion of the point, guys.
I mean, come on. Righteous is the only fair moderation that we actually have. That when Steve was doing it, he was basically just attacking Globers. He wasn't attacking no flat earthers. So you have to understand that Righteous is the only fairness that we actually have. And he's not always here.
Well, the thing is, I'm in the after show a lot. They'll usually mod a lot of Globers to give you the impression that it's a fair debate. So once Nathan's done with this show, you got a lot of Glober type people will come in and debate new flat earthers too, and then the global mod, like globe mods, will do their moderation for their side. But there's just a complete imbalance in the after show of Glober mods to like flat Earth mods.
We don't really have any Glober mods. We only
You have
have
Danny.
one.
You have
Hold on.
different ones, right?
Hold on. There seems to be a stark contrast. There's a bit of a disagreement there, Virus. So you're saying no, there's not a predominance of globe mods.
I can name
Not
at
as I
least
know
6
of, the only
different
person I
after
know.
show Glober mods that are active all
Awesome
the time.
virus. This is
The only
Steve.
person I know was really just
I'd like
one.
to tell you that you're full of shit. Personally,
No
thank
need.
you.
Let's not let this descend. Just let Virus say his piece. He's saying no.
No,
The other guy's
no, he
saying
brought
yes.
up my name.
But this is
So,
Steve that he was just
I
talking
want
shit
to let
about.
you know. I want to tell my side of the story. You
Oh,
know?
my bad, Steve. Go ahead.
Look, either
Hold on, Virus. Sorry. I know I just said you could talk, but go ahead,
you good.
Steve.
You okay? You okay?
Well, the server kind of tapered off. I'm not going to talk about Righteous or anything, but it tapers off as soon as you leave, and it dries up. And it dried up. A lot of flat earthers got discouraged because of the repeat offenders. And I ended up pretty much being the only mod in here consistently. You know, even Paul kind of doesn't hang out in here too much. Most of all of them, they kind of left. So I just wanted to bring up that point. Yeah, I might have stood up for the flat earthers because a lot of times I was the only mod in here, besides a half a dozen globe mods.
Okay.
Well, that gives
This is
some
really just a
context
glimpse.
that was missing from Virus's statement.
You said half a dozen globe mods.
Yeah, and actually, here's
Yeah, there's probably about
Yeah.
6 or 7 globe mods to maybe 2
That's
flat Earth
very
mods, and
weird because
Steve was
Virus
one of
said there
those
is no
that
globe
would.
mods.
Hold on, just
And
hold
Akumu
on,
was
just one at a
saying-
time. Hold on,
Sorry.
just Thing Cleanser. Go ahead, Thing Cleanser.
Yeah, I can name at least 6 other globe mods that were modded by Righteous that are more active in the after show. Steve and maybe Paul occasionally, but mainly it was just pretty much Steve doing the moderation for Flat Earth. And he constantly got railroaded and overtalked, and it was pretty much just the Glober hangout afterward. But every flat earther will tell you that's kind of how it goes, and that's why even a lot of flat earthers here will only ever show up when Nathan shows on, and then they'll go over somewhere else. But Righteous has given a lot of mod privileges to Globers to where it's a complete imbalance, whereas they've scared out most of potentially like well-spoken
Again, we're
flat
back
earthers.
to vote with your feet
Crit
or
being
put
one
up.
of them, maybe.
Vote with your feet or
Yeah,
put up.
and
It's the conclusion we're at.
Brown chocolate.
And the issue, it was me, but the
Oh,
issue
sorry, Lloyd.
is that we know that we've won the debate. So what's happening is filibustering is being allowed. So just on that alone, we don't get to actually have a debate because when we have a point and there's 5 other people to take you off that point, it's not exactly like Globers can do that back because they don't have any evidence.
So this is basically what happened. I tried to debate a globalist mod, Danny T. About the planes flying backwards thing. My claim was that this is a silly statement because planes don't fly backwards. I can see planes flying forward. He said that was a straw man in an ad hom, and I got muted for violating server rules. I directly quoted his own words back to him and explained why I think it's wrong. But because I used the word silly, that made it a violation of server rules. And right after that, it was like, Crit's a dumbass, Crit's a dumbass. Look at, I'm happy he's gone. Get rid of the troll. None of those comments were even considered breaking the server rules. But simply suggesting that I believe someone to say planes flying backwards is silly, you're done. You're out of here.
Oh wait, they said it
And
planes fly backwards, and you're silly, but they claim it.
Yeah.
So, let's just summarize so the audience is clear. So a moderator on the Globe side had it pointed out to him that he claimed or she claimed that the planes going backwards because they're assumed to be retaining velocity of the Earth as it spins, therefore no drift, is stupid. Now, because it's been put in that manner, according to Crit, because it's been put in a manner that suggests that the person is an idiot because they assert that planes fly backwards. Let me just be clear on this. I totally agree that is absolutely ludicrous. Nevertheless, that's got him, whatever, timed out or put into the woodshed or whatever it is you do. I don't really know.
Well, planes do go backwards
I
in the
directly-
hangar, but they're on the ground.
I directly quoted Danny T's voice from Quantum Eraser's channel or Miggy's channel, and it was considered Righteous Force words that I'm attacking the moderators. So I'm debating the moderator using his own
with
words.
his own words,
and I've attacked. Yeah, I straw man Danny T with his own words.
See,
yeah, I straw man them.
But you understand, like that's part of the problem, right? Because when we hold their own words to them, and it destroys their own argument, they get mad about it. That's again, look at it as they taking the L, okay? Because if he's gonna get mad at you because he said some dumb shit like planes fly backwards in the inertial reference frame, then he's an idiot. And the only thing he can do to counter that is mute you. That's it.
So why is he a moderator then at that point?
Well, that's
why is he allowed
back
to
the
moderate
drama
flat
and the
earthers?
bullshit. I don't know, man. I wish I could do something about that for you, but as you can see, I tried and I couldn't do anything for that.
The moderating is justified. Unfortunately, I don't agree with it. It's not, but it is justified officially.
Sleeping Warrior is trying to say If a certain television channel only shows Western shows and you don't like Westerns, don't tune in to that show.
Correct. I don't
I agree.
agree
The
with the
best thing to do is
moderation.
walk
It's
away.
bullshit. It should be 50-50 on both sides or not at all. And it's supported by the Discord owner. So there's no conversation.
Yeah, I'd like to give my opinion.
Yeah, I was just
Go
going to
ahead.
say, is Mark here?
Wayne-
Right,
Mark,
I
come
think
back.
people.
What's up,
Mark
Mark?
Taylor's
I
trying
Can
to-
we all
think
get
people on
some
both
calm?
sides.
Hello? He asked specifically if he could have the airwaves. He's got them. Let him have them. Go ahead, Mark.
I think people get over-modded on both sides. I think overall the modding works out evenly. I mean, Sleeping Warrior, when you was a mod, you deafened me 3 or 4 times and muted me for no reason at all. So I don't think you've
Oh, no,
got any
but
reason to be
that's just personal against you. I don't normally do that to anybody else.
right then. So
Right.
that's
That's the
personal
point.
then. So it's okay for you to do it then, Riley, yeah?
No, I
See what
wouldn't
I
agree
mean?
it's
See,
okay. I would say it's
see,
wrong.
when people have mods,
You are
Hold
a
on,
prick.
Mark.
people have
Hold on.
mods, they-
Hold on, Mark. Go ahead, Sleeping Warrior. Can you actually respond to him? Is that reasonable?
I don't agree that it's. I don't agree that it's okay for me. I think it's wrong. But you are a prick.
I agree.
Hold on.
Right.
Can't get away with that. We're talking on subject.
So-
Forget your
so we
personal
just
issue
think
with
now-
Mark. Hold on, Mark. You've got a personal issue. That's fine. I don't care. But you're saying it's wrong. What you did was wrong to Mark, right?
Yeah.
Okay, Mark.
Right then, so we can see there that personal issues become a part of people's modding. Andy Riley's just proved it there. So, you know, what do you want to do? Do you want to take everyone's bias away from them? And that's
Take the
just
win,
gonna be
Mark.
impossible.
Mark, take the win.
Well, it's not a win.
I'm not
But you
Yeah,
did
it's
it.
not about
Not
a win, to me.
Not
It's
a win. Hold
to
on.
me. It's just
Stop. Everyone
just I
stop.
just
Hold on,
proved
Mark.
the
Sorry.
point
Mark, hold on.
that mods are biased.
Mark, I'm going to agree with you. He's saying, because of your personal issues, you have exercised poor moderation skills. Not only has he made that point, you've agreed with him. That's the end. He's won. Like, what do you mean he's not going to get the win? He's got the win. You've agreed with him.
I said it's not about
No,
a
I
win.
agree.
didn't
I
say
agree with
about
him. But
getting a win.
if you're going to say that that's a win, then I must be responsible for all of the moderation issues on Discord because that
I
must
did not say
excuse
it was a
everything that
win. If
Righteous
you
has ever
listen
done.
back, I said it's clearly not about winning. I'm on about moderation. People bring their personal issues with it. I've just highlighted you because that proves my point. That
Yeah, and you correct
personal
that.
issues come
Yeah,
into
it does prove
modding.
your point. That's
I've
what
been
I'm-
over-modded.
It does.
I've
I
been
agree. God,
over-modded by
even when I'm
Rob.
agreeing with him, he still won't allow it. Yes, when I say you've won, when you say that's your point, yeah, you've won your point in that regard. That's what I mean. You're right, and your point's been well made. Thank you.
So what that just proved is that Righteous has personal issues then, because if Anthony is saying he was wrong and the 5 people on the
No,
panel,
it doesn't. No, Mark's
can
example
I-
is isolated. No, it has no bearing. No, you can't draw
No.
that conclusion.
That just proved
Yeah,
that
I'll show you how you
Mark
can
is
draw
what
the
Anthony said, a
conclusion.
prick.
Nathan, I was using Riley as an instance, and I'm pretty sure that mods in here take personal issues when it comes to modding. Like I
Maybe.
said, people have been over-modded on both sides.
Yeah, but if you're going to claim a win on that basis,
been
then
over-modded by
the
Righteous
only
as well.
implication that you can make from that is that because I did think that you're an idiot and moderate you based on your person, then that must mean I'm responsible for everything because I do it only against you.
No, it doesn't.
That's your position.
No, not
Just
at
an
all.
example. I think
No,
that, then that's
don't,
okay.
don't even know what you're talking about.
No, that's just an example.
You claim
What
a
I would like to
victory because of a personal moderation against
I
you
haven't
because of the
claimed
way
victory,
you are.
you fucking idiot.
Calm
Not
down.
once
Can you
have I
both calm
tried to
down?
claim victory.
Stop. It's me who said he's
Fucking
claimed
idiot.
victory for that point that he's saying, I think that's my point. And yeah, it is, and he's made it. That's the only victory I'm declaring. For God's sake. Both calm down. There's no need.
Oh, how big's the
What
victory
can-
in the biggest
Nathan,
game?
can I just have 2
Ultimately,
seconds to give
moderation is
Betty's
supported by Betty.
point of view, please?
We're back to that.
Okay, go ahead, Mark.
I just like to give Betty's point of view about Anthony. She said he
Don't
doesn't agree
give
with
Betty's
my
point of
rules.
view. No. You can give your
Why
point of
can't
view.
I?
She's not here.
It's
She's
a
not
message
here.
from
She's not
Betty.
here.
Don't need a
It's a
third-hand
message from
message.
Betty.
Your point of view's
She's
fine,
not
Mark.
here.
Just give us your point of view.
Well, it's a message from Betty in her own words.
No, it's hearsay. It's inadmissible, isn't it?
Right,
Leave
it's not
Betty
a
out of
court.
it. She's not here.
I don't want it anyway. I value your opinion, Mark.
Right. It's her server, but she's not allowed to have a voice. Great.
She can have a
Nice.
voice. She can come anytime she likes, right? But I don't need it third hand.
And it wouldn't be her voice, would it? It'd be your voice telling us what she says.
And it's in chat. It's a message. You can read it. Look, he doesn't agree with my rules. He wanted to kick and ban all the trolls from this server. People that don't
That's not
contribute.
true, though, is it?
Allow
That's
nasty
not
memes
true.
and flat earthers and not allow memes from globers. Is that what you want? And it's just a question mark. That's simple.
Yeah, but that's not the position, is it? I was trying to get Blurthers to stop just to talk because there was about 15 or 20 of them in, and not one of them was having any conversation. So I was moving them to try and create space for people to come in that might want to talk, and I don't see that as a problem. But if you want to think that because I muted you 3 times on the run because you're an id, then that makes it okay, that it can be completely ignored, then that's up to you.
Are we still talking about this?
Yes, we are.
Well, they should be sitting on Discord, not at least joining the show and putting some input in. So I agree 100% with Anthony.
Yes,
If you're going to sit there on Discord, then join or watch it on YouTube.
Neil, right. Mark and Virus are both on the opposing side, so that argument's not going to fly right at this moment.
Yeah, but it is true, though.
It's not true right this second, though, is it?
No, they're actually talking now, which is the first time in...
One day when they're talking?
Yeah, and for whatever reason, this particular subject matter, how the Discord server is moderated, has generated the conversation. So I'm not going to let it fly when literally the fact we're having the conversation disproves that argument. So let's not have that argument, please.
Yeah, it's the first time in months, though.
Doesn't matter.
Today, watch tomorrow.
Who cares? There's going to be times when they don't want to come in. Now, I appreciate that us winning in that regard, Earth being obviously unobservably flat, will disturb a lot of them into not coming and wanting to stay off air. Now, that isn't what's happening now, so who cares?
They only want to come in to assert their globe nonsense anyway.
No,
let me give you a little hint. Why are they in here? Because we're not discussing flat Earth. We're discussing mods.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly, Neil. Couldn't have said it better myself. But for whatever reason, that makes sense. Let's discuss mods. We hear the scientific evidence of Earth being a sphere when we're in the after show.
Why do you need us to talk about science? The Earth's flat, isn't it?
Any scientific evidence of a neutral model 24/7 Discord?
So why do you want to talk about science with us if you think the Earth's flat?
It's because the majority of people in the Western world are under the misapprehension that they've got science for it being a ball. That's why.
Cool.
Yeah, remember when you guys used to tell us all the time the body of science?
The body of science.
I'd like to insert something because I just got back, so I demand
God,
full
can you
mic
not
right now.
immediately be that flat Earth side that rumpuses the crap out of the only guy talking? Do you want to try again, Mark? Hopefully without a load of interruption.
Right. So I think.
So Arwin will just continually interrupt you, Mark. I'm really sorry.
That's okay, Nathan. Now you might understand why people don't come on your show. But anyway, I just heard 10 minutes ago, at least 2 or 3 people say that you've already won, the Earth's flat. So why do you need people to talk about science?
It's still being claimed by the globe side.
But your side claims you've won already. I mean, you admit that, yeah? You do agree that your side claims that you've won.
Yeah, we have
We
won.
want the argument, but not the minds.
I'm
because of
happy with that, Nathan. I'm happy that you think you've won. You know what I mean? Just carry on with your life.
Yeah, he provides a service, Mark, and it's his income, so this is what he does. Duh.
Oh, little jab below the ribs there from Pillbox, I see.
I'm giving my reason why people don't come on this show, and why would you want someone to come on your show when you think they're wrong? So,
Why are you coming on the show?
No, the
It's
invitation.
called flat Earth debate.
The invitation is for people to come in and challenge what we put forward here, and they're welcome to do it or not do it. And far be it for me to encourage you to come if you don't want to. You know, it's up to you. We declare that we've won because there's no rebuttal to the things we put forward. That's why we declare it. Not just we just say we've won. You know, there's no physical geometric sphere edge for a horizon to block boats and buildings as declared by your maths. Your sky vacuum stands in violation of natural law, and there's no 15 degrees per hour drift. So we have won. There is no evidence to suggest that we're on a sphere in a vacuum spinning, and we can debunk all claims that there are any of those evidences presentable. That's why we say we've won.
Right.
Yeah, it's a
But
niche
the
that needed to be
always
filled. Nathan
debate
Oakley
about
took the
the
reins to do
nature
it. I
of
guess I'll wait for
facts and what is debating, and so Just move the bar.
It's about the
Look,
money
there's not
for you
many
then,
places
Nathan,
like-
yeah? As Pillbox just outlined, and you agree with him? Or-
That's his
Now,
right.
see how-
What's wrong with
see how
Nathan
you just
providing a
took it to
service that
money?
no one
See
else
what you guys
provides?
did?
I
Let me
want
get
to
it
get this
clear,
statement out there.
as he's asking
Well, it
me.
Nobody
wasn't
else
really,
provides.
it was
My
a
bad.
question for Nathan.
Taylor, are you jealous?
Okay.
Hello?
Okay, I'll wait.
Hello?
Are you jealous?
Hello? Sorry, maybe, Mark, I didn't mention money, but I did specifically mention 3 things. Sky vacuum, fake, violation of natural law. No Earth curve edge horizon to block boats and buildings, as declared in your maths. And no 15 degrees an hour drift observable in nature. Those are the things that I actually brought up. But your response seems to be about some you got from the sidelines from Pillbox. I don't understand why you wouldn't address the things I said rather than something someone else said.
Well, no, I was trying to seek clarification, and because people overtalked me, you didn't hear the rest of what I said. I said that Pillbox had said it, and I asked if you agree with it. But as I said, because people talked over me, you didn't hear that bit. But now you've clarified it.
Let me get
it's
it
not
straight.
just about the money. Cool.
Yeah, okay. So what you're saying is you'd just rather reiterate Pillbox's question and direct that again to me a second time, like I'm going to not notice that I've pointed out that I've addressed the reasons why we say we've won. You brought that up, and I've addressed it. Now, a sideline member's brought up my financial circumstances, a different subject, which I'm normally more than willing to talk about, unless it's a distraction technique away from the actual point I've just made. In this instance, no axial rotation, 15 degrees an hour drift is not observable in nature. We're not spinning. Earth's not turning underneath the stars. We've not got drift. No shortened flight times. All of those things indicate we're stationary. Now, there's no rebuttal to that, but what you want to know about my earnings? I'd rather you just maybe address the things that I've declared in response to you saying, why would you believe, were your words, you've won? And no, it's not a belief. There's no axial rotation, space is fake, and there's no Earth curve. We've debunked those things. So we're definitely not on a sphere. Further to that, it's measured flat. When they measure it, it's flat. All of the measurements that they take require a flatness to start their measurements. And they declare so. Euclidean. Non-spherical. That's how it's measured. So it's not just that it's not turning, that space is fake and you can't have pictures from there. Yeah? It's also that the actual measurements show no drop. No 8-inch per mile drop. Look it up. Do an elevation profile in Google. No drop. Earth's flat. Measured flat. Shown flat. So we've won. Ask me again about my earnings, rather than addressing your fundy belief that I've just annihilated in the last 25, 30 seconds.
Okay, check this out. Nathan, check this out. Ready? Now make us, real quick.
Your name's
this
not
is
Mark.
really important.
Your name's
Now-
not Mark.
Well,
Yeah,
yeah,
I
I
was
can
gonna
answer
interrupt
for him
first
to show you
here.
how
You
to
can't
tie this
answer
all
for
together.
him.
Grid,
What
hold
is
on.
going on? Don't be those people.
Okay, I gotcha. Okay, I gotcha. I'll put myself on mute.
Yeah, what was you saying, Nathan? You've won. Yeah, great. You've won. Cool.
Do you accept
Yay.
Earth is flat and stationary and space is fake then?
No, it's definitely not flat.
Why not?
Nathan.
Why not?
But I believe in your small mind.
Oh, so it's about your belief in what I believe. No. Why would you not accept those things?
Ah, come on, don't ask him to think about it.
God, God, why do I spend half the time not listening to the silence and the cogs turn in my opponent's voice, but Arwin's got to decide to interrupt? Mark.
If I'm happy you think you've won, I'm happy with that.
Not think,
If you're
no.
happy with it,
No, without any
I'm happy with
doubt.
that. Well, that's cool then. I'm happy with that. You think you've won. I'm happy with that.
It's not about me thinking it, Mark. It's about you saying,
Well, so
I
you don't
believe
think you've
something
won.
different. And I'm saying, why would you believe
So
something
you
different?
don't think you've won then?
Yeah, we've moved past
I thought
that,
you
Mark.
said
We've moved past that. Now I'm saying, why would you believe otherwise? How could you possibly challenge what I've just said?
Well, I
He'd
just said
rather
I'm
challenge
happy.
logic.
I'm not
Of course,
challenging.
it's
I'm
Arwin
happy
that I need.
you think you've won. I'm happy that you think you've won, Nathan. How many times have I got to say that?
You think? Why would you think otherwise? That implies that you think otherwise, and you've told me you think otherwise. You believe otherwise. And I'm intrigued.
course I do.
Maybe you could tell us
Of course
why
I do.
you think otherwise. Maybe you could help out
Well,
the
there's no
audience.
point because you think you've already won, Nathan, isn't there? So there's no point in discussing
Well, maybe
it
you
with
could prove me wrong.
Well, I don't think the Earth's flat, Nathan. So
just about what you think, is it? Just I think. Just Mark
that's
thinks.
what you just claimed. You just said you claimed you've won. So I'm claiming
Yeah,
I think the Earth's not flat.
I had basis for my arguments, though. Maybe you'd like to repeat the basis of my argument back, and then just hand wave them and say, "Well, you think otherwise," and not give any examples of why you think
like I said,
otherwise.
I'm happy that you think you've won, Nathan. I'm happy with that.
You're happy to just carry on believing otherwise without any reason to believe otherwise.
I'm happy to think that you think you've won. I'm happy with that.
That's fascinating.
That's what I said to you.
So essentially, in terms of what I've put to you, you've got nothing further to offer.
Not on you thinking you've won, Nathan. No, like I said, I'm happy with you thinking you've won.
Okay. What about one of the 3 points I actually made prior to saying I've won, though? You got anything to say on those things?
No.
No? No challenge, then?
Challenge to what? That you think you've won?
For example, but not limited to, before I completely get interrupted again by everybody. So, not limited to, but for example, as a repetition of what I've already said 3 times. Axial rotation. There is no 15 degrees an hour deviation as Earth turns underneath. That would be a Coriolis effect, which is claimed to occur on a spinning ball Earth. That does not occur. Now, maybe you can challenge that.
I'm happy you think there's no 15 degrees rotation, Nathan. I'm glad with that. I'm happy.
And do you think otherwise? Do you think there is observable drift on a spinning ball Earth? Or
next point.
Just next point. No challenge. Yeah. Just you think otherwise.
Well, what's the point of challenging? You already think you've won, Nathan, and I'm happy that you think you've won.
Thinking
I have won. You've got nothing. Oh my God. Now, when my opponent has literally nothing but talking through me, I have won. You don't have anything to respond to it with. You're just happy that I think I've won. Okay. Yeah, well, in light of a challenge to what I've put to you, I'll accept that victory, my friend. Moving on. The sky can't be a vacuum. Space is fake, and all the pictures that you like, your little proofsies of Earth as a sphere. Yeah, they're from a fake place. Because we'd all be dead. The gas would fill that space. Maybe just happy that I've won again. Or you could challenge that. It's up to you. Obviously.
I'm happy that you think you've won, though.
I just happy. Just happy for me.
Excellent. Thinking it. Stop using that word, Mark.
It's okay. I don't mind. He's happy that I think I've won, and he doesn't have anything to challenge it with. So you can carry on having not challenged that, thinking that you're happy that I'm thinking that I'm happy, and that's all good by you.
And you can carry on thinking that you've won, Nathan.
And meanwhile, the sky is not a vacuum, and Darwin will interrupt the conclusion of the point that we're making, of course. Yes, so, meanwhile, the sky is not a vacuum. Space is fake. There are no pictures from space, because we'd all be dead. The gas we breathe would fill it. It expands in all directions. So we don't have a sky vacuum. Everything they've told you about that place and pictures they've shown you is fake. Now, if you're an audience member, like Mark, you can just be happy with me that I've won debunking space. Just be happy for me.
Now, he likes to think about it a little bit and then think about how he doesn't think that, even though he doesn't know what thinking is.
No need.
Well, that would be correct, Arwen, because he doesn't believe in absolutes.
Doesn't matter. He can't show any proof to contrary-wise. So that's why he's going to say that.
That he's just
misusing that's the same
the
claim
word
Marcus Force makes.
Because there's no process involved in when Mark Taylor talks about thinking. It's just feely, choose. That's what he thinks is thinking. And it's not. That's not thinking at all. Thinking is actually looking at information and then trying to figure out what it is and what it means. That's thinking, and that's not something you do on a common basis, Mark.
Yeah, hey, Arwen, this was perpetuated because Righteous Force lets him get away with this. Because that's what he does too. Righteous Force can't make any argument for the globe.
Bring that back
or for flat Earth.
Yeah. Let's talk about that some more. I'm being ironic.
To let you know, this is what it's like talking. No, this is what it's like when flat earthers try to talk to these people, and you will earn a mute. This is basically what you guys can do to challenge. Pretend to create this wrong. All the other flat earthers, even people on your own panel, they're all wrong. Make a separate account and try to engage on the server as a flat earther and watch how quickly you'll get destroyed.
Hold on.
Assume they're listening. Just say things and then see what rubs off, how they will deflect it. And then by their deflection mechanism, you can pretty much derive where they're at and where they're going.
Right.
Don't expect them to actually listen because they never do. They can't.
Listen, we're back to put up or move on. That's where that conversation goes.
Not exactly. That's one of the roads you can take. The other road, that's the road that about 3 or maybe 3.5 years ago, a very wise man called Anthony Riley said, once you reach that point, just be smug about it. Don't get angry that they're saying things like, well, you can believe that you've won. Yeah, I could really take that to heart. It could really get on my nerves, couldn't it? Or I could focus on the fact that my opponent has absolutely no rebuttal to axial rotation not being demonstrated in 15 degrees an hour drift, the sky not being a vacuum because it violates natural law, or there being no physical geometric sphere edge for a horizon. Are actual arguments that I've won, and he's happy for me to think of one. Think of one? Maybe I could focus on that. Nah, Earth's flat, stationary, and there's no space. I've won. That's a fact. He doesn't think that I've won, and he can imply it by saying he's happy that I think I've won. Oh, that's wonderful. Well, maybe he can take that away as his win, while I wallow in my actual victory.
Yeah. Mark, I have better and more baller arguments than you do. That's a fact.
That's a victory for our win right there.
Hooray, I won.
Yeah, I've also done. Yay. I've done the Nathan Oakley, housekeeping questions for the globalists. I said you could answer these questions this way, and a lot of them said, yeah, they're really good answers. But yet somehow they'll still say that I'm trolling because I don't understand the globe model. And if I say, wait a minute, why'd you deflect back to me? And then now Crit's starting drama, mute them.
Yeah.
And it happens to everybody, not just me.
Listen
it's
to
about
their
the
words.
room. Okay.
Yeah, you don't understand. You don't stand under their explanation.
Exactly.
Therefore, you're trolling them. They've told you. You can think of it as a force. What do you mean thinking of things as a force isn't making it a force? You're trolling. You don't understand. Take that as a victory, man. That's what it is.
No,
it's not a victory though, because at the end of the day, I challenge the moderator. Okay, go ahead, Arwen.
Go ahead, Arwen.
How about we overstand? We don't need to understand. We overstand it. We stand above it. We've identified it. We mastered it. We can emulate it, but we don't agree to it because of blatantly obvious reasons, which are revealed when you actually master your belief. Your belief, not our belief. Right? So we overstand it. We stand above it. Yeah, we know it's there. We know what it is. We don't agree because we understand. Oh, now we did it again. Overstand.
Yeah, stand over. I know what you're saying. We stand above your explanation, is what you're saying.
Yes, pretty much.
And as bad as that sounds, Crit, I mean, and Crit's right, but I mean, imagine just, literally just ignoring moderators and being banned, which is what goes on at 24/7 Sodom and Gomorrah, and it's been going on for a year. So everybody's got a job to do. I'm not going to tell you what to do, but this is the great deception, guys, and Flat Earth is no exception.
With that, I'm going to say a huge, massive, enormous thank you to both Discord and G+ Panels for making today's after show possible. Of course, a massive thank you to all of you in either Nathan Oakley 1980 or Nathan Oakley Premiering Streams for hopefully smashing the super chat, liking, commenting, sharing, subscribing, and all that good stuff. If you are a UK Energy user, you can get £50 back for switching to Octopus Energy. There is a link in the info box below this video. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I'll see you all in the next video.
What a lovely day!